let me start the recording, switch us over to this screen. All right, guys, so welcome to the one-shot Blessings Unheralded. This is the Wrath and Glory 40k RPG system that has been recently put out by Ulysses. Just a few sort of announcements or primers for this session. This is both for the benefit of the players and anyone who's watching. I am joined by several of my previous past players, as well as a few new ones, and I'm fairly confident it'll be a good group and hopefully entertaining. That said, everyone present, including myself, is new to the Wrath and Glory system. Like, literally, we just got the free RPG day module, and we had time, about a week, to go over and read it. So we're going to make mistakes, probably a lot of them. Don't be surprised if we take a few moments to look up rules, or if we spend a few moments discussing said rules. But in the interest of keeping things moving, I will sort of enact GM Rule 0, and that I may make some judgments that kind of contradict the rules. I may also ignore some rules or parts of the module in favor of keeping the game going. I'm still going to do my best to keep to rules as written, but as I said, the flow of the game and the enjoyment of my players a little bit more important. That said, I'm going to do my best as the GM to explain things both from a lore and a mechanics perspective as they come up. That way, both the players and those of you watching at home can get a feel for the system, because I know a lot of people are sort of a little bit wary of the system at the moment. The other sort of thing I have to say before I get into my opening monologue is that if all this goes well and everybody has a good time and schedules permit, this one-shot group may turn into a full campaign. All I would say on that is to sort of watch my Twitter and my schedule page, and I'll post updates there. Now, with that said, let's sort of get in the mindset of the grim, dark future of the 41st millennium. So, as I said, it is the grim, dark future of the 41st millennium, and there is only war. This war takes place across the galaxy in the darkness of space, on a million worlds, and within the depths of every human soul. Mere survival is hailed as victory, yet there is no peace among the stars, except perhaps in oblivion. Approximately a century ago, a galaxy-spanning tear in reality known as the Great Rift opened. What caused its creation for sure is unknown, but popular theories include the destruction of Cadia, the awakening of Yanid, and possibly even the ruinous powers reacting to the rebirth of Gulliman. Whatever the case, this warp storm cut off countless worlds of the Imperium, which were in turn overwhelmed by the forces of chaos. Now, to speak of chaos is to invite ruin. No two agents of the Dark Gods are the same. They range from mortal humans who have pledged their lives in service as cultists, to traitors and heretics within the Imperium of Man, to Chaos Space Marines, and then even to demons themselves. These heretical agents lurk under many guises, working to bring destruction to the Imperium. And that, my players, is where you come in. Each of you is part of a warband that is currently working with a rogue traitor named Brynhild to combat the influence and spread of chaos. Each of you comes from a different walk of life, yet you are united in purpose. That's why when one of your fellow warband members, Adept Guinevere Parker, was injured in battle against a demonic warp incursion on Gilead, you saw fit to get her the best medical treatment available. That meant bringing her to the St. Deploritus Sanctum on planet Enoch, also of the Gilead system. This facility is run by Sisters Hospitaller, peripherally associated with the Order of the Sanctified Shield, and, if it matters, Enoch itself is an Imperial shrine world. Now, the journey to Enoch has been mercifully uneventful. All you really need to do is quickly find Adept Parker so that your warband can return to full strength. You are very easily able to find your way from your assigned landing pad past the granaries of a massive distribution center to St. Deploritus' Sanctum without any complications. Now, the Sanctum itself is an enormous building that spans multiple wings, multiple floors. It is just a massive structure. The exterior is a beautiful white marble with blue, bright veins that run through it, all engraved with imperial iconography and golden insignias. Some, if not all of you, take a moment to pay homage to the aquila over the entrance before crossing in. And inside the grand doorway is an enormous room with arched Gothic ceilings. Light shines down from hundreds of candles, as well as colored sunlight streaming through the intensely detailed stained glass windows. And this is where we're going to start introducing characters. So, we're going to start at the very top in Discord. And as I said off stream, if you could briefly introduce your character, their title, and if you have a brief blurb of their backstory or just any details we should know about your character, this is the time. And once you are done with that, we're going to be rolling your objective. So, Morgan, I believe you are first.
Yes, I am Battle Brother Cole of the White Scars chapter. He is obviously just a standard Battle Brother. I think it's just a tactical Marine, basically. And he is so far just been cut off from his chapter and has therefore been working alongside this warband in hopes of one day reuniting with them.
All right, very good. Now, again, for benefit of players and those watching alike, so for your objective, you're going to be rolling just a straight d6, and every single character sheet, again, for the benefit of those who don't have a sheet in front of them, every character sheet comes with 6 possible objectives, and you roll a objective at the start of every session. And if you accomplish this objective, certain good things happen, but we'll get to it as it happens.
All right, I'm rolling now.
All right, a 4. Would you mind reading that off for me? Because I'm trying to balance like 6 sheets at the moment.
Compare the current situation to the desperate fighting on Cadia.
Ooh, interesting. All right, I can see that happening. Okay, up next we have Michael. So, Michael, I believe you're playing our Commissar.
Yes, I am playing Commissar Victoria Lynn, who has served with great distinction for roughly 70 years, and has even served time with Guilliman's unnumbered sons Indomitus crusade in his quest to repopulate the Space Marine population across the galaxy. She has detached herself from that campaign now that it is over, looking for new work, and has been assigned to this warband.
Okay. All right, same thing. Roll a d6 and read off your objective, whatever you get.
Number 2, I am to explain how the uplifting primer has a lesson appropriate to the current situation.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. All right, next up we have Nalaxon. Would you care to explain your character, please?
Yes, I am playing Lady Alaretta today. She is an inquisitorial acolyte under an unnamed inquisitor in the adventure path. Basically, she's part of the Order of Xenos. She hunts down any Xenos sort of heresy going on, any kind of smuggling, things like that. Currently, she's working with the warband for her own inquisitorial aims. Hasn't said a lot about herself, I don't think, in her background. And kind of just views everybody as useful as what they can do for the Inquisition.
All right, very good. And let's see what your objective ends up being.
So that would be display a symbol of your authority and use it to firmly establish your position in an interaction with another NPC.
Okay, so I believe it is included in your equipment, but I believe you do have a rosette. Just so in case it comes up, you can use it. Up next,
yes, it is.
Up next, we have Bishop. So, Bishop, if you would introduce your character.
Alrighty, I will be playing Pater Nemoris, a Ministorian priest of the Enoch Synod. He has actually been part of the Ecclesiarchy on Enoch for a while, spends a lot of time ministering to the faithful, and when he's not doing that, he's usually putting las pistol bolts in heretics.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And
his objectives will be 2. Proclaim your enemy to be a heretic and unworthy of the Emperor's light.
Another good one.
God, I hope I get that one too.
Yeah. All right. Up next,
we're
we have Thok or Michael. Which would you care to introduce your character?
Sure. I will be playing the role of Veteran Sergeant Gale Harden. Gale is a veteran of many campaigns with the Imperial Guard, mostly fighting against lots of Xenos, though orcs are especially hated for her. She has marched with the Gilead 412th, also known as the Gravediggers. When nervous or anxious, she's often seen rubbing a set of ident tags that don't appear to be hers.
Okay. And let's see what your objective is. Also, Michael, just so you know, we are getting a little bit of beeping on your end. He might be stepped away. I'll mute him just temporarily.
I was gonna say, let's see. Number 4 is reminisce about your time working with the shadowy Inquisition.
Ah, very nice. Okay, and then finally, last but not least, Cloud, I believe you are playing our sister.
I am commanding Sister Henna Orton, who is a devout and pious sister of battle, who has fought on many battlefields alongside Brother Cole. I am here to purge Xenos and implore the Emperor's name to glory. My righteous fury will strike down any in our way. And comedically, I also have to proclaim an enemy unworthy of the Emperor's light and a heretic.
Hey, you know, it's a good one. That's all that matters.
Now
Well,
I'm
let's
just
see if
hoping
we can like
double team.
synchronize it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alrighty. So,
Heretics. God.
all of you are currently in the entranceway. Again, it is a very large open structure, and you just sort of see patients, visitors, just sort of going about their business, whatever that would be. Obviously, patients are probably in some sort of white robes or blue robes of the Sisters Hospitaller Order. There's also, of course, sisters themselves running around. Of note, they are not in the carapace armor that we see on the battlefield. They are definitely in shield robes. There are visitors that are wearing pretty much standard Imperial clothing. There you go. You should be fixed now, I think, Michael. But what was I saying? Yes. So you see visitors of all sorts. And for the moment, it seems that you have the place to yourself.
I would like to ask if there's any like commotion or notice of the giant like man meat. Ooh. Space Marine carrying along with us.
Well, let's see. Can you hear us now, Michael?
I am entirely stealthy. What are you talking about?
Very tall, very stealthy, totally
I'm
not
too
armored.
fast to see. All right, buddy.
Are you just doing donuts in the waiting room?
Oh, good lord.
He has perfected Drax's stealth techniques.
The con
the
had
Emperor of
nothing on
Genius.
me.
Well, let's quickly resolve. Michael, can you hear us? Oh no. All right. Well, have him work on. Just keep trying. All right. So to answer your question,
being characteristically stoic.
yes, he is being very stoic. So to answer your question, yes, in fact, probably about after all of a minute of you all entering the foyer, people start to notice your little warband, and some sort of look at Battle Brother Cole with reverence. Others seem to look with a mix of fear and awe. Pretty much what you would imagine a standard Imperium citizen's reaction to a Space Marine would be. You know, either they've never seen them before, or they know what they're capable of, and one showing up is usually not a good sign.
Still, they treat them with the appropriate deference and respect as I have taught them.
Brother Cole, it seems you have admirers in the peasantry here.
I cannot.
Perhaps we should find someone who can take us to our beleaguered friend's room.
Agreed.
I worry for her.
Indeed.
Where the citizenry or the medical staff, I'm assuming, are all sisters?
They're not just sisters. There are some, standard priests running about, some nursing staff. While there are some sisters, they definitely do not make up the majority. There are Medicae, I believe is the actual appropriate 40k term for them. There's plenty of those wandering about, but if you wanted to flag down a sister, very easy to do.
No, I'm going to try to flag down someone that will actually bow to my authority. I'm going to stride up to someone who's handling paperwork.
Okay. Let me.
We are here.
Hold on. Let me put you on
Not
this
even the
map.
might of a commissar
Whoa.
can measure in front of the administratum and all their paperwork.
So this is kind of the scene at the moment. You can of course arrange yourselves however you like on the map, and hopefully each of you sort of sees dynamic lighting, which should
Okay,
provide
that's-
a nice treat. I don't know how well it's showing up on stream, but hopefully it works a little bit.
It's kind of weird. It's like pillars.
Yeah, it looks kind of weird on stream. They look like little pyramids
No,
or spikes.
The
Sometimes
idea's
it
there.
works,
That's what
sometimes it
matters.
don't. I appreciate the effort
working
of
for me,
the,
then, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I would say the nearest individual, the nearest sister that you could flag down, has. Where is their token? All right, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll just use quickly theater of the mind. So the nearest sister would be sort of in this square here. She is talking with what appears to be another sister. And who would like to go up and speak to them?
I will.
I just do
Okay.
sister.
And I'll stay moderately back from the commissar, but also basically to watch commissar's back.
Okay. So yeah, the sisters kind of notice a commissar in full commissar gear walking up to him, and very quickly turn their attention to you, Lynn, and the lead one, or at least the one that seems to be the one in charge of the conversation, says, "Yes, Miss Commissar, how may I help you?"
Sister, we are here to to visit our friend and companion, Guinevere
Guinevere Parker.
Guinevere Parker. Thank you, Guinevere Parker, who was brought in scant days ago. Where may we find her?
Well, I would have to access a terminal to find out that information for you. If you would
Please
just
do.
And as she says all of you hear a scream. And from this door over here to the extreme east, you see a man burst out through the door, and he is screaming bloody murder. And he's yelling these strange things. He's yelling, they're coming, everyone get the hell out of here. Just go. And as he gets right about here, we'll say, you notice several things. Not only has the tranquility of the sanctum been violated because now women's screams are being heard, but you all begin to notice an unholy stench. And sure enough, moments later, from out of that same doorway stream 8 grotesque-looking individuals. They're covered in boils and pustules and just all sorts of disease and decay. And these shambling, rotting humanoid figures are all clad in patients' gowns. And I think it's probably safe to say that this is not something that should be happening in a hospital. So you all have a single action before we actually jump into combat. Now, your action cannot be to actually shoot, but it can be to ready an item or a weapon or something of that nature.
Battle Brother Cole will take out his bolter and say, "Heretics, just like my time on Cadia.
While I don't have a problem with that, I would say that you probably want to save that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. That was just all right.
It was too easy.
I'll wait for the actual, heresy to come about.
Yeah. Okay, so
Page
Cole's getting ready.
Morris, in the meantime, will sort of seemingly out of nowhere whip out his lab's pistol and say, "Be gone from this sanctum, foul creatures!"
Okay.
Alaretta immediately makes a sign of the Aquila and then pulls out her last pistol as well.
Okay.
I will pull out a bolt pistol and quickly see if there's any guardsmen that I can boss around. Seeing none.
You just see Harden, sadly.
Yeah, I can't boss her around. Not without just... Because she's one of the good guardsmen.
I mean, you can give
In my
orders.
opinion.
You have tactical advantage. Sister Orton, is it okay if I move up a square?
Yeah,
to
you can
look
move
for
up
us?
to 2 squares, I'll say.
Okay, then Sister Orton will ready her helmet, pull her bolter, and say, "Everyone, behind the line! We must not let any civilians get hurt." And that'll be her action.
Okay.
And Sergeant Harden will mimic the glorious Sister of Battle and step up to this post, put her shoulder into the column, and then aim down the side of her las gun.
Okay. Well, let me zoom in a little bit for the stream's sake, and we're going to start our very first combat. So, again, for the benefit of players and watching alike, the way initiative works in the system is basically the players get to decide who goes, and then I get to choose an NPC that goes, and we sort of go back and forth. It's very similar to my Star Trek Adventures games, for those of you that may play in or watch those. But otherwise, it's sort of a free-form initiative system. There is no hard sort of initiative rolls unless you there are times you roll initiative, but this is not one of them. And I think what I'm going to do, just to make things interesting and because it'll let me start explaining some things, I'm going to spend a point of ruin here. And if you don't mind me monologuing a little bit, I'll go into an explanation.
No, go ahead.
Ruin is basically the GM's pool of points that a GM can use to do very certain things. And one of those things is that I can basically make the NPCs or the enemies go first in any combat instead of the players. And the good news is that I am limited to only 6 of these points, and getting them is kind of difficult, actually. So I'm already down to 5. Now, there are points that the players have, and the players have 2 different kinds of points. The first is a Wrath point, and every player starts with 2 Wrath points. And Wrath is represented by the blue bar. Wounds are your green bar, and Shock will be your red bar. But Wrath is basically like Fate points from the earlier 40k RPGs. You can reroll failures, you can restore shock, and you can also do something, again, very similar to Star Trek Adventures, where you can spend a Wrath point to basically declare a minor narrative element to the current scene. Like, for example, you could say maybe that this column here is easily knocked down and provides cover, or something along those lines. The other thing, which we'll get to eventually, because I'm sure you guys will roll crits pretty quickly, is called Glory. And Glory is very similar to Ruin in that it is a capped pool. The maximum the players can have is a total of 8. And basically what Glory is used for is adding bonus dice to pools, adding damages to rolls, and basically keeping the initiative with the players. Basically, you get glory by rolling a certain amount, but let's do an actual roll, and then I'll go into a little bit more explanation. So, out of curiosity, which of the players would like to go first?
Don't speak up all at once now.
I have an idea for something Nemoris could do in the process of getting ready to fire, which might make life a bit easier for us.
Okay.
Basically, I forget. Like, if I was wanting to like shout a command to like all the civilians to like evacuate in an orderly manner rather than just blindly panicking, what would that be?
So there's two ways we can do this, or at least the way I understand combat. So in combat, you have a move action, a combat action, and two simple actions. Now the simple actions are kind of at my discretion, but I'll say if you want to just literally just shout and hope somebody listens to you, that would be a simple. However, if you want to make it like an actual authoritative command, that would be, I would say, your combat action, and that would be a roll.
All right, I think I'll do that then, because we don't want civilians getting poxed.
Okay. Yes, in that case, what I'm going to call for is a leadership test. So you're looking for your total number of dice next to your leadership. And
that
you want to
would be
hit
a total of 5.
Okay, so you're going to be using the core roller macro, which will automatically handle the dice pools and splitting off the wrath die. Okay.
Oh, that's a good start.
That's a very good start.
Nice,
So,
nice.
to kind of explain again what this means. So, in Wrath and Glory, you roll dice pools, and you want to see 4, 5s, and 6s. 6s count as 2 successes, 5 and 4 counts as 1. And for every single pool that you roll, you take one of those dice to the side, and you make that what is called the Wrath die. And as you can see in the little chat, Wrath die are very special in that if you roll a 6 on them, you can gain a glory, and if you roll a 1, there's a complication. Now, this is interesting because the default difficulty is only 3 successes here, which you've achieved with 2 6s, so 2 2s, and a 4, which is a 1. So there is now another mechanic, which I didn't think I'd need to introduce this soon, but, you know, I'm happy that we could.
Good job, Jungle. Only here to help.
Yeah. So right now you have 5 successes. Now what you can do is you can shift one of those exalted icons, and you can make that a glory point if you so wished. Or what you could do is you could either gain information, you could make it so your command is more effective, or maybe you have an idea of your own that you might think that is good for the narrative, kind of a thing.
I can't think of anything in particular, so I think I'll just bank the glory point.
Okay. So if someone would keep track of the glory, that should be the tokens you all see there.
Sister will, I suppose, since it makes sense.
Oh, Bishop's got it.
Well, actually, is glory like it's a
Okay.
community?
It's a pool, community pool.
Yeah,
It's a resource for everybody.
Oh, okay. I thought it was individual player, but cool.
No, that would be Wrath.
Yeah, I would be.
Oh, Wrath, right.
Yeah. Okay. So, Pater, if would you care to flavor your command to?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so Pedro will sort of brandish up his like. I'm assuming he like has his like Imperial Creed standard taped to his back at all times or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll like hold that up and say, "Quail not, citizens! Remember thy evacuation devotionals. Follow thy prayers and chants. Have faith in the Emperor as his servants fight on your behalf."
All right. So what I'm going to say, because you succeeded so well, the NPCs that are not trying to kill you are actually going to get to go next. So this woman up to the north is actually going to be able to run all the way over to here. This man and a woman are going to run pretty much over to here. And the others that are farther away will just sort of move, but if poxwalkers make all the way over to them, we have bigger problems. So up next is the poxwalkers, and interestingly, it's not them that goes. It is the man that was running and screaming before. So this man, he gets to about here now.
Quickly to us, escape!
Yes, and he groans and just sort of clasps himself across the chest, and he falls to the ground, and before your very eyes, he begins shifting into one of these unholy abominations. So what this means is this is now time for a fear test from everyone who is able to see this. Now I'll be nice and say that Bishop, the pater, was probably yelling at civilians, so he may not have seen this, but the rest of you probably are gonna see this.
Well, I'm going to say he did see it because I have the talent Fearless, which means I automatically pass fear tests.
Okay,
Well, that's convenient.
that is very
I'm immune to
convenient.
intimidation.
Well,
checks.
good for you. So what is this test?
My
'Cause,
faith in the Emperor protects me.
my brain is failing me on what dice pool I'm using.
Not to worry. So, the default, so the difficulty for the test is a 3, so standard difficulty, and you are rolling your resolve. So that should also be on your sheet somewhere.
Okay, I see it now. Thank you.
Yep. And that would be everyone, I believe. Well, except for obviously our friend Nemoris.
And where was the macro for Wrath Dice and all that?
Yes, I
It
have the
should
same
be
question.
same place that you saw the challenge dice macro for Ophion. You just have to check
And
it
if
on
you
your
just,
bar.
like type hash symbol into the chat, it'll come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see where the challenge dice normally is, because normally that sits underneath your icon. But
Oh yeah, you have to check the in-bar button next to the macro.
Because it's
I have
dumb.
no idea what you're talking about.
Along
Go
the top,
go to the thing.
along the top, there's there's the chat thing, then there's the character sheets, etc.
Mhm.
Fourth along,
3 lines segmented by
3 lines and then
collection?
macros.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and then you have to click in bar and show macro quick bar, and that'll make it easier on you.
Oh, there we go.
Yay!
How
Alright,
much
cool.
wrath does everyone have again? Sorry.
Everyone starts with 2.
2. All right.
All right. So
There we
let's go through here. So the sister has failed.
Yes. 3
which is
dice will do
interesting.
that to you.
The commissar has failed. It seems Alaretta has also failed. Hardin, it's also a fail.
All right, guys, this will be a
There's
quick game.
lot of-
Yeah, this is very quick. So everyone has failed. So this is
Yeah,
interesting.
So the pater just says, "Fear not, the servants of the Emperor will defend you." As all the servants of the Emperor run away.
Did I fail?
Where
I think
are
I rolled
you?
mine wrong, actually. I'm at the very bottom. Decently sure.
Yeah, you only rolled 1 5, so that's only 1, and you needed 3.
Damn. All right.
Yeah. So this actually is probably a good time to maybe use Wrath to re-roll those failures. But remember, unless you accomplish your objective or have good roleplay, that Wrath does not refresh.
Gotcha. I'll spend mine.
Okay. And
So I
again,
only
that is the blue bar.
I'm going to see where this goes and not re-roll.
I will also keep my roll.
Okay.
My faith in the Emperor is strong, but these things, whoa.
I am going to use a point of wrath and reroll.
Okay.
You only re-roll the ones you missed, right?
Yes.
Any failures, yes. Well, there you go. That is a significant difference. So,
You cannot face an angel of death.
let's see. So one of those would have been the Wrath die. So let's see. Again, you have the option to, well, hold up. So that 6 would have been 3. So yes, Morgan, you have the option to bank a point of glory if you so wished.
I guess I will.
Okay. Bishop, if you would kindly take care of that.
Shall do.
And then Alaretta.
Still a failure.
Yeah, you came close, but not quite.
That's what 3 dice will do to you.
Yep. All right, so very interestingly, what happens is pretty much everyone except the father and Cull, you're just sort of chilled by this transformation. Luckily, it doesn't incur any corruption on you, but it does mean that from now on, for the rest of this combat, all of your difficulty is increased by 1 when attacking or interacting with the source of your fear, which is going to be the Poxwalkers. So just keep that in mind, and don't feel bad if I forget it. Just, correct me. I don't mind being corrected. But the good news is it is now the player's turn again. So who would like to go next?
I'll go.
I suppose. Okay.
Oh, unless you want to go.
You're fine.
All right. Since I don't have good line of sight of the one that changed, I'm going to use an aim action instead of moving.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my bolt pistol on this chap here.
Okay.
Okay, so if I recall the weapons rules, I have to roll.
Ballistic skill.
Yes.
And the target number is their defense, and their defense is not great. You only need, your base number would have been a 2, but because of you failing the fear test, it is now a 3. So you need to beat a 3. And because you aimed, you actually add 1 dice to your pool.
And now, I have a rating 4 ballistic skill, linked attribute is agility, and that's a 4. So I roll total, my dice pool is 8 plus 1 for the aim, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I roll 9 dice.
Mm-hmm. And the core roller will handle all of that for you.
Yes, it will.
Oh, wow, I see lots of successes here.
Oh, my word.
Yes, very nice. All right, so let's count for shits and giggles. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you are definitely going to hit it. Would you like to shift that 6 for another point of glory?
I mean, sure.
Okay.
I'll take the glory.
Alrighty. So, remind me which Poxwalker you're aiming at?
I'm the third one down in the rank.
Okay. So you are going to blow this thing to pieces, but I'm going to let you describe how it is blown to pieces.
Okay.
Doesn't he get bonus die for damage?
He does, but these Poxwalkers are counted as mobs because they wanted this initial encounter to be, I guess, easy. These are, these are very easy to kill.
A little frail.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone paying close attention to Commissar Lin during the initial actions show that she's whispering something underneath her breath as her arm steadies itself as she combats the initial shock of nurglings in the hospital room. The whispering becomes much louder as she pulls the trigger, and just as the Poxwalker explodes, you hear her something along the lines of, "Emperor, damn you!"
Very nice. Okay. So, up next, unless you would care to retain the initiative by spending a point of glory. Maybe.
I mean, we have 3 glory now.
You do.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I can seize the initiative. Everybody's cool with it.
Sure.
Sounds good to me. Down
Okay,
to 2.
so taken by the Commissar's show of bravery, Lady Alaretta is going to tuck out from the corner of Battle Brother Cole's armor, steady her arm against his armor, and fire a single lash out at the walker right there.
Okay. So same thing. Your ballistic skill total. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So you are aiming, yeah?
8 dice, yes.
So yeah, make sure you add 1 from aiming, and then your target number is a 3. Wow, would you look at that? So,
Ooh, that's a 3 point of glory right there.
yeah, you do get a free point of glory from the Wrath die. However, you cannot shift the 6 on your normal dice because you need it to get the successes. But you do hit it, and you do kill it. So how is this Poxwalker dying?
Lady Alaretta mumbles a prayer under her breath, steadies her arm, and with just a squeeze of her finger, just blows its head to pieces with the superheated energy of the Lasby.
Alrighty. Very nice. All right. Well, finally, we come around to the Poxwalkers. And, you know, kind of what you would expect from shambling horrors, they don't exactly have the best speed in the world. It's kind of like watching a slow zombie march. So this one here is going to get to 1, 2, 3, 4. And it actually comes back around to you guys.
I think I'll go.
Okay.
Battle Brother Cole will rush ahead, trying to put himself in between the others, and he will shoot at the Poxwalker that just walked up.
Okay. So good news for you. Your difficulty's only a 2.
All right. And they are a mob, correct?
Yes, but basically the way it's treated, as long as you succeed, you're going to do enough damage to kill it.
It just said I get a +1 icon to a successful attack against a mob.
Ah. Yeah, I'd say that comes into play here.
And forgive me, but what's the what do I roll for attacking with my bolter?
You're rolling your ballistic skill total, which should be, for
9.
you, a 9, I believe.
Unless he's getting bonus die because of mob. But I don't think he is. I think it's just an icon.
Yeah. All right, so let's count. That is 1, 2, 3, 5 successes. And again, if you so wish, you can shift that 6 you rolled on your normal die to another point of glory.
I will.
Alrighty.
So many 6s.
I mean, this is good for you guys. I mean, this is very good. But yeah,
I'm going to be using a couple of those when my turn comes around next.
Does anyone mind if I seize the initiative? Because you're supposed to wait 1 turn, which we did, I believe. Yes.
Yes. So
Right, then I would like to use a glory to seize the initiative for Sister Orton.
Okay. But first, Cole, did you have any flavor for the Poxwalker exploding?
Yes, Battle Brother Cole, after he rushes forward, moving like a kind of like a tank, but albeit a very fast one, he will put himself before the others and fire his bolter. The shots piercing into the Poxwalker and exploding outward, causing bits and pieces to go everywhere.
Very nice. All right, we are down to 6 Poxwalkers.
So I have a question, DM. Is this
Okay.
straight line a dividing wall, or what is this?
That would be something along the lines of a bench that sort of just stretches across the room. I guess you would call it a pew, even though there's not like a pulpit anywhere in the room. It's height-wise maybe about half ankle or ankle-sized. But other than that, you're able to shoot over it, you're able to move over it, things of that nature.
All right. Well, Sister Orton will say, "The light of the Emperor shines brightly from you, Cole. See now how a sister does it." Hopefully I don't roll all ones. I would like to make a multi-attack.
Okay.
I will be aiming at the 2 most Poxwalkers in front of me, which would probably be these 2. If the ping will go off, thank you.
Yep. Okay.
So that will increase the difficulty number by 2. And since I'm afraid, that was a difficulty of 3, so a total of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Here's hoping I don't suck!
All right, let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. You got the 5 you needed, but that is a complication.
But that is a complication. Ooh.
Let's see. So, the good thing
Feel
about
free to hit me with whatever
complications
you'd like.
is the complications can be pretty much anything that comes to my mind.
I am not giving you a point of ruin. I'm sorry, DM.
Yeah. Yeah. If you'd like for me to take ruin, I can take ruin instead.
No. Feel free to have my bolter explode or whatever.
No. I think we'll do it this way. What happens is, as you fire off your 2 shots, go ahead and flavor how you kill them, and then I'll continue.
She stands steadfast, lowers her bolter to the side of her hip, and just pops off 4 shots, 2 in each. The rounds pierce their flesh and explode inside, spraying their putrescent guts over the back walls. The sister is mildly sad for her sisters, Hospitaller will have to clean that up.
All right, so the complication is going to be that your reload is gone. Like, it completely jams, and you are left now with 2 reloads. Because I believe everyone starts with 3.
Correct.
Yes.
All right. So up next is going to be the Poxwalkers, and, we start to see the value of action economy in the system, because this one can maybe get to about here, but then it's, who hasn't gone? Sergeant Harden, you have not gone next yet. So what are you doing?
Sergeant Harden is going to step to here. And I will shoot at this Poxwalker that felt the need to jump over this pew/wall/dark black line on the floor. Ooh, nice. I was really hoping the guardsman actually got a decent amount of dice to roll.
All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And that means you can shift that 6 to another point of glory if you so wished.
Sure.
Okay.
So much glory.
Yeah,
You're on fire.
This is really good. So how would you like to flavor this Poxwalker going down?
In a hail of the loudest gunfire, no, I'm kidding. It's las guns. In what looks to be a rave or a disco of some sort, a bunch of holes just appear, burning through the Poxwalker's flesh and dripping whatever was underneath the pox down to the floor.
Gotcha. All right. So it's at this point that I'm going to ask a question of you players. So at this point, you guys kind of have a feel for combat, maybe? And I think it's pretty clear that you guys are going to wipe the floor with the rest of the other 3. So are you okay with, handling the rest in a narrative fashion, or would you like to play it out?
Narrative's fine. I don't feel like it's going to be necessarily a challenge at this point.
Okay.
And it depends whether you mind me spending glory just to show off next turn.
I'll leave that to you guys to decide as players.
I think we should.
Yeah, I am fine with
continue
narrative.
normal combat. It'll get us more used to it as well.
True. Alrighty then.
In that case,
It's fairly quick too, which is nice.
Yeah. So what's going to happen then is Poxwalkers are pretty much just going to shamble right about here, and we come back around to the players. They may which one of you is going to be going?
I volunteer.
Okay.
Go for it.
Alright, so sort of Sergeant Harden sort of up there being very professional, like hiding behind cover and taking shots. And then you just get sort of the Painted Amoris just brazenly walking past Laz pistol out, shooting up and going, "Be gone, be gone!" And I'm also going to do a multi-attack.
Okay.
However, I'm going to spend a reload to do a sort of the multi-spread option,
Okay.
which reduces the difficulty number again. So it goes up by 2, goes down by 2.
Okay.
Now then, question for the GM.
Mm-hmm.
Do these Poxworkers have the heretics keyword?
Oh, yes, they do.
No.
Excellent.
They're
Then
not heretics.
then my talent hatred for heretics gives me a plus my rank on melee attacks, which I've just realized this is not. So never mind.
I mean, maybe if you somehow
Throw
rig
the
a
pistol. That's a
slingshot
melee
and-
attack.
Yeah, I will, however, spend a point of glory to get an extra die on the roll when this all clears up, because you have to do that after you've made the attack.
Okay.
So, ballistic skill is a total of 7.
All right, so no successes, actually.
Yeah, I will spend a
no
point
one
to
success.
roll
Sorry.
all of those. I'll spend a point to re-roll everything except the Wrath die.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got a success on it.
Okay, if I just use the roller and then ignore which one's the Wrath.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
basically.
Okay, that's better.
Let's see. That is 1, 2, 3.
Four
Yes,
more.
you get the required successes you need.
Alrighty.
Huzzah.
And then that point of glory to roll an extra dice
Okay.
for extra damage, hopefully. I should probably double check whether that happens now or when I roll the weapon.
I think it's when you roll the weapon. Let me look. Let's see.
Yes, it is. Increased damage.
Yeah.
Increases the total damage of a successful attack by 1. So my last pistol does 7 plus 1 energy extra damage dice, so that'll be 8 plus 1.
Yeah.
Oh, plus the ballistic skill, which
Yeah.
is 4.
Yeah, more than enough to kill pretty much everything.
Cool. So 2 poxwalkers go pop pop.
All right. Boom. And up next is one poxwalker.
Alone.
And finally, the poxwalkers are going to get to make an attack. Honestly, I understand why they did this. Sort of, easy combat for you guys to get used to it, but I honestly don't see how they expected them to survive for very long. But anyway, so this
rolling
one,
the dice.
Yeah, this one is going to get all the way up to you, Nemoris, and it is going to attack you. So, what is your defense value?
Now this will be without the chainsword because I haven't actually whipped it out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a defense of 3.
Okay, so I need to roll 3 successes on this. Their weapon skill is that much. I have rolled 4 successes.
He's infected. We got to put him down, boys.
All right, so this is interesting because this is actually a good time to handle damage. So every single weapon has base damage and then basically what is a bonus die worth of damage, which is just same system. You roll a d6, 4, 5 is another 1, a 6 is 2. So base damage is a 7, so let me roll that bonus die. Alright, so it's going to be 7 damage. Now, what is your resilience?
My resilience is a total of 9.
Okay, so for 7 damage, doesn't even affect you. You don't care at all.
It's sort of like he swings at me and he sort of catches the rope, rips it open, and you get a nice view of the Aquila-shaped burn scar on his chest.
Very nice.
That he has, according to this thing.
Yes, he does indeed. All right. Up next is the player's turn.
Do you mind if I
He still takes 1d3 shock though.
Yes, this is true. So thank you for reminding me. So I forget if I roll that or if he rolls that.
I believe you do.
I think I do, yeah.
It's the person who attacks.
Let me just double check. Yes, it's just 1d3. All right. So you get all of 1 point of shock.
Add that to the red bar.
Alrighty.
And I guess I will be the one to go.
Okay.
So,
May as well.
Battle Brother Cole will rush forward, seeing his ally in danger, and will strike out with the Poxwalker with his knife. The thing more of like a sword to a normal human, but to him it's just a mere combat knife.
Okay.
And I will roll that.
Big boy.
Yep. So this time it's your weapon skill instead of ballistic, but otherwise
Same thing. Ooh.
All right, so that's 1, 2, 3 successes, which again is all you need. So how would you like to describe this last Poxwalker going down?
Considering the size, Cole basically just push it off of Pater and throw it to the ground before just hacking at it.
Okay.
Yelling in fury.
Alrighty. So that is actually the end of combat, and not a moment too soon, as fashionably late as they are, 4 guardsmen, being led by a female guardsman who is in slightly shinier armor. They come running out of the northernmost door, almost literally into this woman who's trying to escape. And one of the hospital security goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 calm down, calm down." And then the woman sort of looks at all of you and says, All right, all of you, put down your guns. Let's talk this out. I don't know what's going on, but good lord, what in the emperor are those?
Sergeant Harden shakes her head and just says, "Private security, always late to the fight."
If this is how this facility handles security threats, then your detachment is in serious need of retraining, Sergeant.
Aloretta steps forward and immediately just pulls a rosette out from her robes and holds it forward and says, "Nobody will be dropping their weapons here."
All right,
Whoa,
agree
whoa.
with him.
They're simple guardsmen. Let's just calm down.
There are heretics in our midst. We must not let our guard down.
This is now an
we must not
investigation.
fight amongst ourselves either. She may prove useful to us in our, finding out of what's going on here.
So the sergeant does try to get a word in and says, all right, you don't have to drop them, but can we at least lower them so that we're not pointing guns at each other?
Fine.
Cole will do so.
Aloretta holsters her last.
I'll holster my pistol.
Okay. And, once everyone is relaxed a little bit, the sergeant does step forward, and she says, my name is Sergeant Grosvenor. I know, I hate the name because I'm going to pronounce it so badly, but, so I am Sergeant Grosvenor, and I am in charge of hospital
I
security.
suspect it might be pronounced Grosvenor.
You know?
Governor.
It might be. I'm going to keep saying it the wrong way because I find it funny.
This is the grim dark.
Are you related to Grover at all?
Yeah. This is the far future of the 41st millennium, where traditional pronunciations have been dead for millennia.
Truly, this is a grim, dark future we live in.
Yes.
And just wait
Truly.
for McCall to get his hands on the name. Then, yeah, it'll definitely be bad.
We really are the grim dark, aren't we?
Anyways, so she steps forward and she kind of looks between all of you. She gets a little wide-eyed at Battle Brother Cole, and she says, to whom do I have the pleasure of addressing?
Battle Brother Cole. These here are my comrades.
I am Sororitas Sister Orton.
I am Lady Aloretta, and this is now an investigation. Governor.
There's a brief pause as you realize Nemoris wasn't paying attention and was in fact starting to sort of pray over the remains of the poxwaters before he says, Pater Nemoris, and then goes back to attempting to consecrate the area.
Okay.
I am simply impatient. Why are we standing talking when we should be finding the source of this outbreak?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about, Commissar. Don't worry. I'm on the same page as you here. I just need to know. And, well, first maybe I should make sure that, I'm on your side. And she reaches very slowly into one of her vest pockets and pulls out a official-looking badge. And a visual inspection would seem to hold up that she is indeed head of hospital security. If you would care to insight further, we can make a roll of it, but otherwise, believe what you wish.
Aloretta definitely walks up and takes the badge.
Okay. Let's make a roll of it because experience rolling is never a bad thing.
Just
while-
insight.
I would believe that yes, insight would
Or
be.
would it be more awareness if you're examining the badge for just
Investigation.
authenticity?
This is a good point. I would say let's do either because insight is probably fellowship based, so that's probably more speech and character. Let's do either awareness or investigation.
Harden will walk around the commissar and quietly say, I'm going to walk up and watch Aloretta's back.
What do my special sister senses tell me?
Wow. I'm just looking at all these sixes. Good lord.
The Emperor! He has blessed my sight!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys are actually capped on glory already. Jesus.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Time to start using them.
Glory to get an additional success and then take one back.
Alrighty.
Honestly, that's pretty legit if you're having a hot streak with the dice.
That's amazing to me.
It
Alright,
can
so
change
next
at the
up,
drop
and
of a
then
hat.
spend
The
one
real
to get an
sad
extra
part
success.
is this will be my best roll the entire session.
Just on perception.
Just got to
Yes.
get more dice.
So you're going to notice actually several things looking at her badge, and this is between Aloretta and Sister Orten. The first thing you are going to notice is that she's actually fairly new in the grand scheme of things to hospital security. It seems that she joined up about a year ago, and although it doesn't really say where she transferred from, just looking at her armor, you would guess that she may have been involved in some form of military activity on Gilead, and it's might even be possible that she was in the same fight that Adept Parker was in, but you're not 100% sure. That would be, I think, what you would get with the sort of insight/perception check. Though I will say, since you did spend a point of glory, if you want to ask an additional question, I will try to answer it truthfully.
Sergeant, what do you know of the creatures we just fought?
Well, she takes a look around and she kind of leans in and lowers her voice so she's not broadcasting to the whole area. And she says,
So I'm sorry about your walls.
I'm less concerned about the walls as I am in containing whatever this is. This is not the first attack. There's been several minor incidents over the past few months, and although we're not aware of any patients transforming into any of these creatures, or we're not treating any of these creatures, we're at a loss as where they're coming from. I was kind of hoping that you might have saw them come in, or that you might have chased them in here, or where did they come from?
To the east, as far as we're aware. We did not see anything on our way in.
Harden very nonchalantly points in the direction that they actually walked up from.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can see Nemora sort of has probably got some incense out by now and is just sort of. It's not doing much for the smell, but it is making it a little more tolerable.
The mark of ruin is clear upon this place. We must be on our guard, all of us.
Okay. All right.
Ravner, is it?
Yes, it is.
Aloretta hands the badge back and just nonchalantly takes out a snuff box from her robes and, does a couple hits of snuff and with a nice clearing of her sinuses, looks at her deadpan. I think you may need to reconsider training your staff and staffing more guards if there's an issue. Well,
granted, we are a little bit short-handed. There's only 30 of us guards and only 10 are on duty at any given time, so you're probably right. We got here as fast as we could. We pretty much just heard screaming and came running.
That aside, this is now an investigation. I represent the Inquisition, and you should lead us somewhere more private so we may discuss matters out of the earshot of the rest of the folk here.
Of course, if you and your fellows would care to follow me. And
Lady
sorry, go ahead.
Lynn is going to ask Lady Aloretta. A moment.
Yes, of course.
Just bring her away so that, as a commissar, I recognize that she is flaunting her authority, so I do not wish to call her out.
Mm-hmm.
But aside, wandering away from where these chaos infested are spawning from is, in my opinion, a poor tactical decision. I wish to inspect the rest of this east wing, see if we can find out where these nurglings are coming from.
That's a fair decision. I just simply do not wish to discuss this in front of all of the civilians.
Very well.
All right. And to answer Cull, not to worry, I did see. Battle Brother Cull, you see that all of the guards are wearing standard guardsman flak. They have lasguns, knives, and vox beads, and that's it.
You said you had 10 of these men.
On duty at the moment, yes.
woefully low number for how they are equipped.
Well, I mean, no offense, sir, and you can tell she's pretty nervous talking to you. We honestly don't expect any sort of attack. I mean, we're used to dealing with unruly patients that have gone mad or broken out of their restraints. This is very new to all of us.
When she gets done, Harden walks over to one of them, points at his las gun. Brother Cole, look at this one. He still has his safety on.
I see you have become woefully coddled with the non-violent nature of this facility. You should always be prepared for heresy and combat at all times.
Sister Orton will place a reassuring hand on the sergeant's shoulder and go, Brother Cole, then. It seems that the Emperor has cited us here to save them, no?
Only from their own misguidedness. I forgot the word.
Shut up, though.
I forgot the word.
He's an angel of death, not loquaciousness.
Exactly. I only have fellowship of 2. All right, give me some break here.
Hey, I'm trying to make everybody the good guy, okay?
While they're all doing that, Commissar Lynn's tired of standing around talking. She's going to wander up to Potter Nemoris.
Mm-hmm.
Father, perhaps you and I shall explore the rest of this hall. See if there's any more of this blight.
Agreed. There's a little more I can do here, he says, sort of putting down the incense burner and pulling out his chainsword. But let us investigate.
Okay. So this is interesting because we are splitting the party a little bit. So who is going with the sergeant to discuss things in private, and who's going to go sweep the wing?
I will go to sweep the wing.
Okay.
Since Aloretta did bring it up, she will go with the sergeant. She'll turn around from the corpses.
Let's do this. Anyone who's going to the wing, put yourself in the green box, and anyone who is going to talk with the sergeant, put yourself in the orange box.
Sergeant Harden, you seem to have a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Busy inspecting their
Nice
gear.
it up.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if Brother Cole is going one way, then I will go the other.
All right. So I won't change maps here, but we'll just use theater of the mind. Let's handle the...
You don't have a really cool Theater of the Mind map for this game?
I did, but I decided to reuse it for our BRB screen, so...
Gotcha.
I only have but so much art to use. Anyways, let's deal with the sergeant first. So the sergeant leads Aloretta, Orton, and Harden, leads the 3 of you to her office, and you see that it is... For a hospital security room, it is actually fairly well equipped. It's almost like a miniature armory. So there are up against lockers and in secured holding, there are more las guns. There are some knives. There are some batons. There's also one chainsword. But you're not seeing like bolt guns or flamers or anything of that nature. And inside this,
a combat knife.
if you wanted to pick up a knife, you can. But let me finish this first.
Yes. Okay.
You're fine. Okay. So also in this space, so sort of next to the lockers and where the miniature armory is, there is a single wooden desk. It looks very simple, almost like someone took a pool table and converted it to be like a normal desk. And there are no chairs except for the one behind it where the sergeant sits. And she says, you'll have to excuse me if I have a seat. This is very disturbing.
Yes, I'm sure running here was hard.
She, she looks for a moment like she wants to reply to that, but she does not seem to want to, cause any grief here. And she
Now,
says,
Sergeant, I'm sorry I flaunted my authority, but please tell us what you want.
Well, frankly put, I think we're dealing with as I said, an outbreak here, and if this outbreak isn't contained soon, we're going to have a panic. I was hoping that you obviously taking over an investigation would facilitate that, and I know it's not much, but I would be willing to help you in any way I can, including granting you unrestricted access to the entire sanitarium.
Aloretta looks over to the sister and just nods as like to get her opinion on it, and then looks back to the sergeant. Well, exactly how long has this outbreak been going on, and who else knows about it?
Well, as I said, a few months. The first case was approximately 3 months ago, I believe. Honestly, I wasn't able to find any correlation or any leads to follow up on, so unfortunately, you and I are kind of in the same boat information-wise at the moment.
No paperwork, no data slates, nothing I can look over?
I mean, I can grant you provisional access to some of the records, but we've combed through them several times ourselves, and we haven't found anything.
Thank you, that will most certainly do.
If you don't mind me asking, ma'am, what brought you here if not to handle these things?
We had an ally and very close friend fall in combat. She is here.
What is their name? I might be able to at least direct you to where they might be.
DM, I can't remember it.
Adept Parker.
Genevieve Parker. Genevieve Parker.
Genevieve.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Genevieve Parker.
All right, well, let me pull it up and see what I can find. So she goes to her little terminal, does a little bit of typing and tapping, and finally says, well, I don't know what's going on with your friend, but they're currently in the exotic diseases ward.
I'm sorry, excuse me? Exotic diseases?
That is correct.
She heaves a sigh and then looks over to her two companions. Well, I think we've done as much as we can do here anyways, and now that I have access to the records and some other things in this facility, I don't see us wasting time here being important.
Yes, we should probably get out of this office. Sergeant, thank you very much for your information. Sister Orton is very clearly trying to think through the implications of the exotic disease ward, considering our friend here was wounded in battle, not contracted with some horrific disease.
Mm-hmm.
She offers her comm bead frequency for her helmet to the sergeant, should you ever need to contact me or any of us. And by us, I mean I'll just tell them, because I don't think we all run on the same frequency.
Well, I mean, I would think as a warband you have a private frequency.
We have,
but...
yeah, that's the point. I'm not going to hand out our private number. I'm just going to mine.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. All right, so with that 3 handled, let's go to Nemoris, Lynn, and Cull. So you all are sweeping the wing where the Poxwalkers came from. And interestingly, you're seeing something that's a little odd. Actually, you know what? Let's make a roll of it before I actually say this. Let us do, from everyone, let us do a awareness test. And I'm going to set the difficulty at a 4. Okay, so let's see.
I think I will spend a point of glory to get an extra die to roll on this.
Okay.
And sorry, the difficulty was 4, correct?
Yes, so the only one who passed looks like Nemoris. Yeah. Okay.
We only need one.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a complication with Lynn, but I'm just going to take Ruin for that.
Oh.
And again, if I'm taking Ruin when I shouldn't be, please feel free to correct me.
I don't.
It's technically raw, but
Yeah. Let's see. All right, yeah. So, Nemoris, you are the only one who's going to notice this. But you are seeing a trail of bile that is sort of trailing along the floor, and its color, at first glance, kind of blends in with the tone of the stone floor, and that's why maybe your fellows aren't seeing it. But once you notice this trail, it is very easy to follow.
As with all things heretical, it hides in plain sight until you see it, and then it is as clear as day.
Come on, Scoob. Where does the tracks go? Let's go.
Ruh-roh.
They in fact
Where are we
lead
going?
to...
So you follow them, all three of you?
Yep.
So, because this is actually a very good way to bring you back together, you
Follow
all
the
arrive
green
at the
mile
Exotic
road.
Diseases
Follow
Ward
the
at the
green
same
mile
time.
road. Follow the green mile road.
We sweep the halls and we arrived here.
Yes. So I'm going to
The
put us
Emperor works in strange
actually...
ways.
I'm going to put us back on this map for Theater of the Mind stuff. Simply because it's a nice, pretty map. So, the Exotic Diseases Ward, you actually have to go up a level. So, I imagine the Nemoris, Lynn, and Cull kind of come up from the stairs, and the other three come up via the lift. But no matter how you get into the ward, it's pretty much the same experience. The Exotic Diseases Ward is a little bit different in that those who enter or leave the floor are briefly bathed in a cleansing mist. But other than that, you're not actually seeing any obvious signs of quarantine or contagion prevention. The lights here are dim, with underpowered lamps illuminating the corridor. And there's doorways on each side of the hall that lead to rooms occupied by 2 patients apiece. There are a total of 25 rooms plus a caregiver station. And the caregiver station is very close to the lifts and the stairs. So it's, you walk into, say, a doctor's office and there's the front desk, kind of the same thing. Interestingly, the moment you guys arrive on the floor, and this is for free, you all hear the sound of chanting. And it is drowning out the solemn hymns that are playing through the sanitarium's loudspeakers. And the chanting, as you maybe try to look around for the source of the sound, you realize that every patient, or possibly every patient, is rattling off a seemingly endless stream of numbers in a dull monotone. There is no immediately available or not available obvious sequence to the numbers, and no 2 patients are reciting the same series. So just sort of imagine that there's just numbers being spoken monotonously. And it's very easy for it to fade into the background, but it is an important detail that I have to tell you.
And Morris will
Sounds
sort
like
of
heresy.
make an exclamation and sort of make the sign of the Aquila over his chest.
This is either heresy or the math classes that they forced us through the Officio Progentum.
I never trust the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Do not listen too keenly to the numbers. You do not know what could happen.
Agreed. Now,
Fear not, for my faith in the Emperor deafens my ears.
is there an individual at the care station?
Yes, indeed. I forgot to mention, there are 2 Sisters Hospitaller working the desk. There are about a dozen servitors working the patients. And there's also but several medical technicians. So still sort of nurses, but they're not sisters.
Now, can we still see the bile trail?
No, the bile trail ends before where the sort of cleansing mist sprayers sort of puffed out at you.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Henna will go up to one of the hospitalers and go, "Sister, I'm seeking a patient here. Her name is Genevieve. Genevieve. Do you know where I might find her?"
And you say I'm bad with names?
Yeah. One moment, sister.
Really dumb.
Yeah.
Because you are.
Yeah, I know I am.
Now, so are they arriving just before?
No, you both arrive at the same time.
Ah, right. Well, in that case, I guess Beta and Morris would say, "Hey, honored comrades, what are you doing here?"
What are you doing?
We briefly discussed some matters with the sergeant, but beyond getting access to some records, it didn't prove much fruitful.
Oh, we are here following the trail of the poxwalkers, and this is where it seems to come from.
But these people do not look disturbed at all.
Not yet.
Speak for your bloody self.
Steel yourselves, comrades. The air of heresy is thick here.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
How many beds are empty?
If you were to go into every, like poke your head into every room, what you're gonna see is there are 2 patients per room, and the rooms are very bare. They're about roughly 4 meters squared, and the patients are on glorified cots. And there are some cabinets with linens, there's prayer books, there's cleaning supplies, and there's also a nightstand adjacent to each quote unquote bed that has what you're assuming is patients' personal effects. There's an IV drip that attaches to each of the patient's arms, and it's providing what appears at first glance to be a clear saline solution. And at the end of every cot, there is an autoscribe that is printing out lines of patient information every few minutes. And to answer Sister Orton's question, the Sisters Hospitaller says, she is in that room there, second on the right.
Thank you, sister. Emperor bless, and she walks off.
Okay.
And behind her, Nemoris will come up and say, Honored sister, this will seem like a strange request, but did you discharge a large number of patients in the last few minutes?
No. We actually don't really send anyone from here unless, they die.
Did anyone visit here recently?
No. You are the first to visit today.
Peter, if I might.
Yes?
Have you had any dead recently?
We did have 2 individuals, yes, that succumbed to the abacus syndrome. We sent their bodies to the morgue, but it was only 2 of them, and that was in this past week.
Now, this abacus syndrome, I'm assuming it has something to do with the number chanting.
Yes, in fact, it is because of abacus syndrome that they are chanting those numbers.
Most concerning. What direction is the morgue, out of curiosity?
It is, and she gives you directions to the sub-basement where the morgue is.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, does it sound like a place that it would be easy for people to sort of stagger out of there and get out of the ward without anyone noticing?
I would say, because this is probably your first time in the sanitarium, you would have to actually go there and evaluate that in person.
Well, in that case, that is what Nemoris is intending to do.
Okay.
Sister, describe to me the history of the abacus syndrome. How long has it been here, and has it gotten more intense recently?
And she kind of looks at you and says, may I ask who you are, ma'am? I mean, obviously, I can tell you're a commissar, but this is sort of confidential information.
I'm Commissar Victoria Lynn, serving as serving alongside Inquisitor, or is it Interrogator? Interrogator Abigail. Aloretta. That's why. Sorry. In serving alongside Interrogator Aloretta, and at this point, I just nod at her for inquisitorial support.
She produces her rosette and very, very slyly just shows it to the sister before putting it back.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd say at this point you probably can get your wrath point for your objective.
I mean, that's the biggest proof of you being interrogated, so...
Yeah, it is. So the Sister Hospitaller kind of nods and says, well, I'm not going to argue with that. I can tell you that the first patient to fall ill was astropath Darren Feld. He is in room 7, over there, she points. He contracted abacus syndrome approximately 2.5 months ago.
Are psychos somehow more affected by the disease?
We have not noticed any such things. In fact, I believe he is the only psyker that has fallen ill to this syndrome.
I see.
Oh, if it matters, I can tell you that there doesn't seem to be any pattern for how patients are getting this syndrome. All we really know is that most of our patients that are coming into the ward are coming from other parts of the hospital.
Mm.
That is most
And-
concerning.
What is the status of Genevieve Carter?
She too has abacus syndrome, and well, she's about as good as anyone else in the ward at the moment.
Is it always fatal?
You might want to ask Churgeon Koenig about that. He's the head of the ward, and he could give you a better answer than I.
Thank you. Give us directions and we'll be on our way.
Well, if you want to meet Koenig, he's currently in a meeting, but he should be back in a few hours.
Yeah, no, we're not waiting. Where's this meeting happening?
No, you don't understand, and I mean no offense. I truly wish to help you, but he is in a very segregated meeting. He cannot be disturbed.
Is it more important than the business of the Inquisition?
Look, I want to help you. I can, but I don't even know where his meeting is.
See.
Well, then I'm going to use an interrogation check.
Okay.
I have an ability here. I think. Yes. I thought I had an ability to add my rank to my interrogation.
Speaking of that, when it says plus rank, does that include the rank bonus or just the rank?
I think
It's,
it's
your
just
rank in the game. Like we're 1 rank right now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
we got
roll
rank
them
1. So when it says add your rank, that's +1.
All right, I just wondering what the rank bonus is for.
That I don't know.
It's
Also,
the same as your
is-
rank.
So like an 8 action, because I kind of feel like we're tag teaming this sort of.
Yeah, this is what I'll do. I found the thing you were looking for. It is you gain a plus rank to intimidation tests. So for you would actually get a total of 10 die.
Works for me.
And I will say, because you are being aided, I will actually give you another 2 die. And I will make this a difficulty 3, so a standard sort of difficulty. All right, let's count successes here.
Zinch is
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you do get a point of glory.
all
Which
right.
I think you can shift too if you want to improve the test.
Yes. Let's see. How can I shift this? Because she's already said that she doesn't know where he is. Yeah, I'd like to improve the result of the roll, and I will flavor it as it within any institution there is any degree of rumors, scuttlebutt, and otherwise unofficial communication amongst its staff. Surely you have heard rumors of these people that Dr. Corden or Churgeon Corden will be meeting with.
I'll type it out in chat. Koenig.
Oh, Koenig. Oh,
Cool.
I don't do names. I'm sorry. I
It's
have a
okay.
hard time remembering my own.
It's German and dumb.
All right, so how do I want to say you get it? So, I mean, the sister does hem and haw, and she, there's definitely a struggle here. Like, she knows the power of the Inquisition, she knows she has to be helpful, but she only has but so much information to offer. And finally, she says, "It may not be Koenig, but you could talk to Tech Priest Filmon. He's in room 15." He would be the next most knowledgeable about what's going on.
Very well. And I'm just going to stride towards room 15. Stealing
Aloretta
myself.
Turns on heel, follows.
Okay, so let's
suppose
split
I'll
up
follow as
tokens
well.
here. So we'll say Lynn and Aloretta are going to the Tech Priest. Where's everybody else going?
Nemoris is going down to check the morgue.
Okay, we'll keep the morgue down here.
Sister Henna is going to check on the person we're here for.
Okay.
I'll actually go with Henna. I want to make sure, the objective is secure.
Okay.
I will go with the commissar and the lady.
Okay, so you're letting the Nemoris go by himself to
Oh
the
no,
morgue.
he's gonna die.
Oh boy.
Goodbye,
There we go.
Master. It was nice knowing you.
Well, I
Always
mean,
split the party, guys.
I mean,
Hey,
I
Nemoris,
would.
why don't you-
Fear
why
not,
don't you
my
come
faith in
with
the
us?
Emperor shall protect me.
Why don't you
All
come
right.
with us and like
Oh.
it'll only be like 5 minutes.
I was gonna say.
Okay,
I-
Nemoris will come with you to check on
Yeah,
what's
and then we
faith
can
before
all
good.
walk down to the
Administer a
morgue
prayer
together.
for the poor sod. She is our friend, after all.
Yes, I guess that is what I'm supposed to do, after all.
All right. Let us deal with the left group first. So, all of you sort of walk into the room and you see your friend, Adept Guinevere Parker. She is lying in bed, very similar to the 41-year-old man on the cot also in her room. She is staring eyes wide open, staring unfocused at the ceiling. And again, she is chanting a series of random numbers that seem to range from 0 to 2047. Her voice is recognizable, though it's become raspy, probably because she just has been speaking constantly. And go ahead.
No, you first.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask if any of you were gonna try to like talk to her. Or...
Yeah, Sister Henna is going to walk up next to her cot and get down on one knee and hold her hand and go, "By the Emperor, I promise we will find a way to heal you." And then I'd like to make a Medicaid check to see what the fuck is up with her.
Sure. Good
Heresy.
news. This is only a difficulty 1 Medicaid check because you do have the auto scribe.
Complication. I accidentally stab her with my boot.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
You do succeed, at least.
But I do succeed.
Okay, here's the complicate. Well, let me handle the narrative.
She
So
dies suddenly of a heart attack.
good news.
Oh god.
Good news. Miss Parker seems to be in good health, other than the fact that she's got abacus syndrome. Complication: as you go to check the auto scribe, it literally
Uh-oh.
shorts out and breaks.
Oh no.
So not like all of 30 seconds later, a very, I wouldn't call it annoyed because it's a servitor, but a servitor comes in and very gently tries to move you out of the way as it goes to try and perform some percussive maintenance to get this thing working again.
Oh god. Oh god. Sister Henna will awkwardly shuffle out of the door and stay by the door frame, trying not to. Oh no. I don't like mad tech priests. They get really pissy.
All right. So do you guys do anything else with Miss Parker?
Guess I'm the only one that cares.
I mean, like, Nemoris was, like, chanting some sort of benedictions over her, but other than that, not much we can do.
Okay. I mean, that's...
Cole just kind of wanted to see for his own eyes that she was there.
Okay. All right. In that case, let's go to the other three. So, Lynn, Aloretta, and Hardin, you walk in to a very similar room, and in this room is, of course, 2 patients and I guess you would call it a annoyed tech priest.
It's pretty much the standard attitude for most tech priests in my experience.
Yeah. So what you're going to notice is that he has rather extensive cybernetic enhancements. All of his limbs have been replaced. He has cybernetic eyes. He has a vocal implant that gives his voice a sterile mechanical timbre. And at the moment, he's just sort of poring over the auto scribe at one of the patient's beds.
Aloretta just clears her throat.
He slowly turns to look at you and says, "Visitors? That's rare. We don't really get visitors here. Can I help you?"
We are seeking, we are seeking information on the source of the theorized source of this abacus syndrome. Or, failing that, as much information as to the current whereabouts or the people that Koenig is meeting with.
He lets out I guess you would qualify it as a whistle or some form of maybe like a bus coming to a stop where it goes kind of a thing. It would be the tech priest equivalent of a sigh. And he goes on to say, honestly, I have grown very disinterested and rather annoyed at this syndrome. No matter what I do, I am unable to determine the cause of the syndrome or any possible cures. Every test I run yields different results, and frankly, it's inconclusive. I am unable to get any solid data on this disease. Koenig would know more, but Koenig being Koenig, the big shot of the ward, is in a meeting with some bigwigs at the moment. Otherwise, I would be more than happy to pass you off onto him.
I see. You seem like a man who would rather be doing other things.
Literally anything else.
No. So we can get out of your, I don't know, hair. Is there anything you can tell us? Is it always fatal? Has anything unusual been going on in the ward lately?
Well, I can tell you, besides the 2 people that were transferred to the morgue during the past week, not really much goes on here. You know, they just sit here staring at the ceiling, rattling off numbers, and pretty much just sitting there like vegetables.
Does your ward have security servitor? Is there a centralized log where we could review video files?
No, unfortunately, we do not have any in this ward. Honestly, the only place that does have recordings is my makeshift lab, which is down that way. And, he'd point out where his makeshift lab did. And he says, the only reason I have a camera in there is because, I'm a bit paranoid about people messing with my work.
Well, thank you for your time, Tech Priest.
Indeed.
Yes, we won't bother you any further.
All right.
What a helpful bunch.
Yeah.
Yes. Aloretta is definitely muttering about unhelpful people under her breath as she walks away.
Well, let's see how unhelpful the guy in the morgue is.
Yeah.
That's
So would you
enormous.
all be going to the morgue, or would you like to stay separate?
Well,
Since there's nothing new here, I'll go to the morgue.
Okay. Actually,
for my end on...
there is one thing I'd like to add. As Lynn, Aloretta, and Hardin leave the room, Filmon actually speaks and says, one last thing just occurred to me. Sometimes I recall that the rare visitors that came to visit someone in the ward, they went to the chapel. I don't know if that means anything to you, but thought I'd tell you.
We still have to get Beta for that.
Anyways, from my end, since Peter seems to have a motor in his step to go down to that morgue because he's real interested in sanctifying those bodies, you know it. I'll follow his lead.
Okay. So let me ask this question. Who is not going to the morgue?
The only person who seems to be away is the answer there, I believe.
I think Aloretta would head there. I mean, she would almost want to wait for Peter, but obviously if they've already left the ward, she'd just go to the chapel.
Okay. Let's say, for sake of argument and keeping the party together so that you get the information at the same time, you all go to the morgue. So, the morgue is in a sub-basement. It's a little bit out of the ways, because, morgue is not exactly a big-ticket item. They try to keep that away from any, living people. And what you find is, as you sort of walk into the room, there are sort of 2 rooms. There is a quarantine room, and then there is where the bodies are either cremated or prepared for disposal. And what you notice is that the facility is completely automated. It is entirely manned by servitors, and there is one body that is being prepared at the moment, and you see rather gruesomely that the servitors are rather crudely removing bits of cybernetics and other bodily components that could be repurposed. But of interest, you're not seeing any bodies in the quarantine room.
So, Pedro will sort of look around and like, do I see the surgeon anywhere in the immediate area?
No. It is just servitors down here.
All right, in that case, Nemoris is sort of go up to one and sort of tap it on the shoulder.
It stops what it's doing, turns, and says in a very monotone and dull and rather lifeless voice, "Yes, how may I help you?"
Direct me to your instructor / master.
Morgue is run by servitors. No master required.
What about the head surgeon?
Head surgeon does not come down here.
Curious. And he'll sort of walk away from the servitors. Didn't that lady that say the surgeon was down here? In and out of character.
Out of character, no. She just mentioned that 2 had been sent to the morgue, but Koenig was not, going to the morgue.
Servitor.
Yes.
Information request. Information on most recent non-dead individuals in entering or leaving the morgue.
No bodies have been removed from room for cremation. However, records indicate bodies were moved into quarantine room.
Into quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
A quarantine room is different than the exotic diseases section, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're in the sub-basement right now.
Yeah, you're in the
Okay.
sub-basement with the morgue and the quarantine room next to one another.
What was the stated reason for them being moved into
Records unavailable.
Inquisitorial override.
Mm-hmm.
You can try a tech use, but I am going to make the difficulty here a 5.
Damn.
We do have a fair bit of glory.
You do?
I was about to say.
What a waste of all those 6s on my awareness test.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I only have a 3 for my dice.
Alaretta does have decent tech use. She can step up and try to override.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm aware, rosettes do have overrides in them, no?
They do.
Doesn't your character have an ability somewhere on there about using like the Rosaria for stuff like that?
It's for an influence in social situations.
Probably this will just make it so that we don't get in trouble for trying to tamper with it.
Right.
Yes. What kind of role do you want, DM? Just tech use?
Yeah, do a tech use, or I guess just tech is what it is now. And the difficulty will be a 5.
I'll assist on this since I have some points of tech.
Well, you don't need to because that's
Okay, then.
that's
Yeah, that's fine.
6, 7. Wow. Okay. That's 6, 7, 8, 9 successes.
10 because of the rat die.
Yeah. So, do you want to shift some of those 6s to be? I think you can shift 2 of those, I believe, to.
Yes, I will shift 2 for information.
Oh, for information. Okay. So the initial information you get, so not the ones you've shifted for, the initial information you get is that Koenig has been tampering with the logs. However, there's no real rhyme or reason to them. Almost as if he came down here to test a theory, but it didn't yield any information, so he gave up. Or at least that's, the kind of feel you get from the records and information the servitor is able to give you. The other bit of information you'll get is that the personal effects of the 2 most recently deceased are still in the morgue. You would just have to go over to what would be the equivalent of a body locker and open it up.
See, for a man who is not down here, he seems to have tampered with the logs.
Most suspicious. And Nemoris will go over to start looking at these personal effects.
Okay. So, you open up the body locker and there's no body inside, but there are satchels of personal effects. And inside, you do see that there are uniforms, minor trinkets. There's even a few devotional books. But probably what's the most important is there are a few images. And, you're looking at these images, and I'd like you specifically, Nemoris, I'd like you to roll me let's do a awareness.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to make the difficulty here a 3. So standard
7 dice
difficulty.
should be enough, but I'll spend a glory just to make sure.
Okay.
Let's see, that's 2, 3, 4 successes.
All right, that's all you need. So what you're going to figure out is that, the picture you're holding, one of the individuals in the picture, who you're assuming is probably the deceased, was actually one of the people you killed, or at least your party killed, earlier when you entered the sanitarium. I mean, obviously it was a little bit harder to tell because they were a poxwalker and boiled and corrupted, but you're pretty sure it was one of them.
Yes, I recognize this jawline. And he turns it around. I believe you put a las pistol into it about 12 minutes ago.
Loretta steps up and just takes a quick look at the picture, looks back to the others. And they said the corpses were moved to the quarantine room, was it?
Yes, and which raises the question, how did they get out into the main wing without being spotted? And he'll sort of start figuring out, well, what's the route from here to outside?
A lot of this does not seem to add up. This Koenig man, for someone who doesn't seem to have fingers anywhere, has them everywhere.
That's very interesting. And I tell you what, I think this is a good opportunity to take our break. So let's take about 5-10 minutes and be back here no later than the top of the hour. All right, so I will personally be BRB.
Such a dumbass for having us go to Parker or whatever her name is. It's like, I'll RP, and this Space Marine's just standing there like a log, like, I got nothing.
I mean,
to
in
do
character,
here.
it makes sense. I appreciate
Oh yeah, it
it
does, but it's just like, oh man, out of character. This.
Yeah, no, I kind of went. I would basically. Cole just wanted to make sure that
she's here.
what they
I
were
have
saying about her
this.
was true, and that she was still relatively safe, albeit diseased.
I mean, now Loretta, she ears perk up at investigations, so.
You fucking hoity-toity rich girl.
Yep, noble born.
Ew. Not riding a horse.
Isn't it so fun to be part of the lower class? Woohoo! I can't believe that's part of your character sheet. That's silly.
It is pretty lame, especially in 40k. Yes,
No,
it's
that's
fun
pretty
being
40K.
diseased. Not knowing how to read.
Oh my god, you don't know how to read.
No, I mean, just most peasants in 40k, I assume, are illiterate as shit.
Oh, basically, yeah. Depends on the world, but
like there are
unless
literal
you're,
feudal worlds.
Born, or,
I mean, in Dark Heresy, pretty much everybody was illiterate.
Didn't you have to spend XP to learn High Gothic?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
You've had to do that in most systems.
Like, I remember my character from the All Sisters game was sort of notable in that because she was like a Spire-born aristocrat, she could actually speak fluent High Gothic.
I speak Chigoris and really, really bad, low Gothic.
You also speak motorcycle very well.
Oh yes, I do speak that. Unfortunately, despite me having a semi-high drive rating and a bonus talent for it, I don't actually have a motorbike.
I'm almost sure we won't even get to use it, but it's there.
Is a white
No,
scar with
no one has it. I don't.
Is a white scar without a bike even a white scar?
No.
Exactly. Also, I can't hold an action unless I spend a what do you call it? glory. I think it's no, not a glory point. A wrath point.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I know, because
It's
White
really
Scars aren't
rough.
patient, so
I mean,
I have to.
it's not like wrath points are just flowing.
Here's what
Yeah,
I'm
so,
interested in with that shit is like the hold action. You have to make a speed test
Initiative,
against
yeah.
the person you're interrupting. It's whoa, that's a weird system.
Well, I mean,
Great.
if you're interrupting them, I guess if your action isn't to interrupt them, like I don't know, I'd have to make sense in a narrative context. But
I'm just not used to seeing that as a rule anywhere.
I
Usually,
kind of
if
like
you
it
hold
though,
your
because
action,
otherwise you can cheese
you're
the
up.
shit out of things with whole action.
This is true.
I don't know. I'm enjoying playing the skill monkey though. All these friggin' dice.
God, I looked at all your skills. You're nuts. You're just insane.
Acolytes, man.
The only person who rivals you in total skill amount is the Commissar.
I mean, it just becomes a real game. I'm playing as Skatari though.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yo. Yep, me too.
I am
I
back
get bonuses
myself.
for piloting actions with the White Scars.
It's hard to be a
Unfortunately, I
space
don't-
Mongol without a mount.
Yeah, that's what
Shame.
I'm saying. Unfortunately, I don't believe those actually exist yet.
Okay.
No.
Are we waiting on anyone to come back?
I don't believe so.
Don't think so.
I see Cloud is muted, so let's wait till we hear from Cloud.
I'm actually kind of liking the system so far, though.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
feel
fun.
as I don't know, as crunchy and awkward as FFG's.
You're not wrong, and I know I've already messed up some of the shifting, but I honestly think it won't be that hard to get a full feeling for it very quickly.
No, these are just basic rules too. We're missing stuff
Yeah.
like critical hits. I can't wait to see how those work. I bet that's where the system's lethality is going to come from.
Yeah, from because I watched the Bell of Lost Souls stream, and I believe they had the cards there. Unfortunately, I wasn't really paying super attention then, but yeah, all your critical effects and critical hits are card-based sort of.
I love crit
descriptions.
decks.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh man, I love crit decks. That's like my favorite thing of running like 5e games when I do.
All right, well, I tell you what, if everyone is back, we can actually get back into it right away. So let's do a quick roll call.
Present?
Present.
Active.
I'm here.
Present.
Not here.
Okay, everyone's here.
Damn it.
All right, so we go back to this screen. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you have just acquired some information from the servitors at the Morgue. What is your course of action from here?
I believe it prudent that we see what's going on inside this quarantine room.
Okay.
I agree. There's something there.
All right, so it's literally next door to you, so you kind of poke your head around the corner, look beyond the sort of sealed or sort of airlocked sealed room, and it's very sterile looking. There are just sort of slabs where you would assume bodies would be. However, completely empty. Nothing in there, not even servitors.
How many slabs?
There are 2 slabs.
Now that lines up with the people who went in.
I-
Given what we saw as the Poxwalkers came out, probably suggests they sort of ambled their way there and collected people as they went.
If it's all right, I'd like to ask the servitor on the total number of cremations over the last 2 months.
Okay. Yes, and I will say, since Aletta succeeded so well, they will say that approximately, well, not approximately, but more than 20 people or patients have been terminated because of their abacus syndrome.
That's significantly more than what we were told.
Terminated.
Well, I tried to be fancy, but basically, yeah, 20 people have died. 20 plus people have died.
We'll say Haloretto was about to get very concerned for Guinevere.
I mean, it's still on the table. I mean, everything you've heard thus far is that this disease is fatal.
It's just very, very slowly fatal.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly? It's only been 2 months and they've already got a body count of 20.
There's been a bunch of discrepancies, however. So, just clarification,
Mhm.
are we able to actually proceed physically into the quarantine room, or is it actually airlocked?
It is actually airlocked.
Is there a
I
console
mean-
nearby?
Yeah, there is. If you want to cycle like someone into the quarantine room, you certainly can. It's not really a problem.
I shall remain outside, just guarding the door in case of shenanigans.
Alvarado looks at all of them and is like, would anybody like to accompany me inside?
I guess I can. I've got the sealed suit, unless Brother Cole would like to go in. Take that as a no.
He just sort of stoically stares at you.
Actually,
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
I like the idea that he was too busy thinking about motorcycles and shedding a single tear.
Yep, basically.
basically, did you want to go into the quarantine room to help investigate, or did you want to stay outside?
No, I'll go in. Sorry.
Okay. Out of curiosity, because I remember giving somebody an auspex. Who has the auspex?
The guardsman, no?
Yep, that'd be
I
me.
believe so.
Okay. Remind me, did I write down the rules for it anywhere? Let me check. Yes, it gives you 2 dice to awareness tests. Nice.
Yeah, that's what it says, anyways.
Yeah.
It says it has a range of 50 meters.
Yeah. So my question is, do you want to go into the room and use it, or do you want to pass off the auspex for someone else to go into the room to use it?
So far, just the sister in her full suit is going in, correct?
I know Cole is going in.
Alvarado was also going to accompany because she just figures it's part of her responsibility.
Because yeah, I'll go in, but I don't know if I have like the rebreather and all that stuff that guardsmen would normally have. It's not on my.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that on the pre-gen sheets that they gave you that, so...
Okay, then Harden will pull off her utilibelt, an auspex kit, and offer it to the interrogator. Here, if you were going in, then you will probably need this.
Thank you kindly. You shall get your war gear back.
All right. So, those of you going inside, you kind of cycle through the airlock. It takes 2 cycles because obviously a Space Marine and a Sister of Battle kind of take up room. But yeah, there's now most of you inside the quarantine room, and you are all able... Actually, let's do it this way so that not everybody's rolling. Who's going to be doing the main awareness test, I guess is the question.
I do have the auspex unless someone else would like to use it.
I probably don't have an awareness as high as you. Mine's 5. How about you?
6.
Yeah, so I'll assist you on it.
Yeah, I also have 5.
Okay.
Skill monkey.
Yay.
Me and him
Five.
good at hit things. Not very good look.
All right, so...
That's basically it. Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so it's going to be... so you had 6, plus 2 for the auspex. We'll say plus 2 from the assists. And before I set the difficulty number, what are you looking for in particular, if anything?
I was actually going to look for signs of like the pox secretions and all of that various nasty shit in corners that we couldn't see from our outside perspective, honestly.
Okay, no, that's a good idea. I'm going to set the difficulty in that case as a... Set it as a 4, so only 1 more than normal difficulty. All right, let's see what we got. Wow. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not only can you shift a die and get a point of glory, but you automatically get a glory because Wrath die was a 6.
Damn.
Hooray for crit success.
Back up to 4.
Yeah, that's
We are on fire with the
Yeah.
glory.
So I guess the question is, do you want me to give you the information and then you'll decide what to do with the shift, or do you want to shift now and...
Well, What do the other players think, since it is group resources that are on the line?
It depends on how raw we want to do it. I think you're supposed to shift before.
Oh yeah, it is
that.
before the determination. Yeah.
Mhm.
I only have room for one shift, correct?
Correct.
I will actually shift it to glory.
Okay, so you're up to 5 glory. All right, so what your Auspex is going to detect is that there actually is a very, very faint trace of the bile, and it is on one of the slabs. If you were to then take your Auspex and go over it in a more finer detail, in a slower manner, you would be able to pick up the... I guess you would call it the remnants, or some form of DNA that the former patient would have left behind. And it would be trivial for Aloretta, at least, to compare this information to a hospital record.
Definitely. She would take note of that and pass the aspects to the two that accompanied her, just so they can see the evidence. It seems we definitely at least had an infected placed here. And from here, I imagine they ambled out somehow. I imagine Koenig was the one who let them out, if records line up.
Then we must find this Koenig post haste.
I could match this DNA and see where it came from, but we would need to find a terminal for that.
Know, considering the personal effects we've already seen. The heresy of this is far graver than I expected to find here.
Indeed, there are a few things more despicable than an emperor's servant who betrays his children.
Shall we inform the guardsmen to place the facility on lock until the investigation concludes?
Oh, that might tip him off. We want to catch him unawares.
That is very brash. We should be more subtle about this.
To be perfectly frank, I do believe that if he could hear that the facility is on lockdown, then he has already heard of us. I myself am not too subtle.
It's entirely possible that he doesn't expect us to make this much progress in such little time.
He is also in meetings with, quote, big wigs. So
I
maybe
do
he
not
is
think there is a meeting.
Perhaps we will find something if we go directly to his place of residence.
Or we should find his office in this facility.
How about
And even
post
better,
guards near the exits, and then we try to find his place of residence?
Oh, sorry, missed that. Got garbled a little.
She just suggested that they have some of the guardsmen posted near obvious exits and try to find his residence or his office or something.
Yep, sounds good. So go search his office, and then if we don't find what we're after, go find where he lives.
Yep, and just have the just contact Sergeant Gospiner and have her just post some men near exits, not necessarily shutting them down. And just tell them to keep a lookout for Koenig.
Yeah, that seems
Yeah,
reasonable.
and sort of contact us the moment if he turns up suddenly.
Basically, yeah, because they already have the frequency of the sister, so...
Sister Hannah's gonna, like... But yeah, go ahead, Dean.
I was gonna say let's actually RP that out as you contact the sergeant. So you tell her that you're interested in Koenig, and the sergeant says, "Well, if you're interested, I could tell you he's recently returned to the exotic diseases ward. You could probably find him there."
I feel that it, and this is off of the Voxcom, I feel it prudent that maybe one of us should tie him up while we search him so that he does not fuck off, as it were.
Indeed, let us go track him down.
Feel as
Perhaps
though
we
the
should-
sergeant should gather her men near the ward as well. This might get hairy fast.
Agreed. Let's actually give the guardsmen some advance warning this time.
Sergeant, would it be at all possible for you to post at least 4 men outside of the exotic diseases ward? We have reason to believe that there may or may not be some heretical dealings going on. Please do not inform anyone else of this. I trust you, however, due to your, nature.
Of course, I will have my men stationed appropriately.
And I guess we'll get out of this airlock then.
Yeah, and let's go scour the facility for Koenig, who is apparently on site.
Yes.
Do we want to split up again so that we have like 3 people talking to him and 3 people searching his apartment for chaotic bullshit?
That actually sounds like a good idea.
For once, splitting the group does sound good.
All right. So again, let's segregate tokens here. Who's going? Let's do left side is actually talking to him. Right side is going to his apartment or place of residence.
Well, I'm already where I was going to go then.
Okay.
I think I'm where I need to be.
Guess I'll go over here.
On the one hand, I'm tempted to metagame and get Morris away from the area where he's likely to make the most screw up, but on the other hand, he would very much like to be present when this guy gets caught.
Okay. In that case, let us handle the left group first. So the ones actually talking to Koenig. So the 3 of you return to the exotic diseases ward, and you go up to the sisters. You say, "Hey, where's Koenig?" And they point you to the room. And inside, you see I wouldn't call him a grotesque man, but he's definitely obese, and he shows signs of exhaustion. His hair is wispy and white, and it's barely covering the bald spot on his head, and he seems to be intensely focused on treating his patients. Even though you may have, come into the room, he's consistently and constantly, looking at the autoscribes, looking at a data slate, drawing some blood and, doing some tests with it. But he does not seem to either care that you're here or he has not noticed you.
Master Churgeon, we need to speak with you, she shouts loudly through her Vox helmet. My brain just could not end that sentence.
So he doesn't turn to look at you, and he says, yes, ask whatever questions you want. I'm rather busy.
Sir, go ahead.
Are you aware, sir, that foul mutants did come out of this facility not half an hour ago?
No, that's news to me. I was not here 30 minutes ago. I was dealing with some upper echelons of the hospital management.
Which upper echelons?
I'm sorry? And he asked that in character.
Yeah. Which upper echelons were you speaking with so that we may corroborate your location, we may corroborate your recent actions? You seem very interested in overwriting servitor logs. So we...
Servitor logs? I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're so interested, you can confirm with the Canoness. I'm sure she would be more than happy to tell you where I was 30 minutes ago.
Wouldn't that be like a trip off planet for that, considering?
Would it be... What would it be to detect that he's lying? Is that awareness or deception?
That's probably
insight, isn't it?
Yes,
insight,
this would
yes.
definitely be insight.
All right.
Which Nemoris has a decent score, and it's actually his highest stat.
So I'm going to say that because you guys are kind of knocking glory out of the park here, this is going to be an opposed roll, because that's how it works in the module. But B, that I only want, we'll say up to 2 of you can make this check.
Nemoris would definitely like to make this check.
I've got an 8 in insight for some reason, so I'm not terrible.
I have like 4. Go for it.
Yeah, I will spend a glory to get 10 dice.
Okay.
I will spend 2 glory to get 10 dice.
Okay.
Nice. Let me just remove those. All right, down to 2.
All right, let's make those rolls and see what happens.
Wish me luck, Nemoris. We're going in, boy.
Wow.
Good start.
Wow. All right.
Holy moly.
Let's count successes here. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 from 11 from you. So you can shift those 3 6s into glory if you want. And then 1, 2, 3, 7 for Sister Orten, and you two can also shift those 6s.
I would
shift
like
one
to
success.
shift them for accuracy or quality.
Okay.
And I will shift one into glory and put the other two into more information.
Okay. So I think it's pretty obvious at this point that he's hiding something. And while he seemed to have been truthful about, where he was 30 minutes ago and that the Canoness probably actually could corroborate his story, he is maintaining his composure. But I would say, due to your keen insight, there was some tick that tells you when you mentioned the servitor logs that maybe he twitched a little bit, or maybe he was reaching for something and paused for the briefest of moments. Something is tipping you off that he knows that you know something, and he may be replying to you knowing that.
Yes, as a priest of the ecclesiarchy, I am well practiced in spotting subtle hints of guilt.
Guilt? I don't know what you mean.
Your left thumb twitched when I mentioned the servitors.
It's a nervous tick.
So it's
You would not believe how often I hear that in confessionals.
It's not very wise to hold information from a sister of battle nor a priest of the Administorum. You know the consequences.
Especially not when the ruinous powers are involved.
The light of the God Emperor shines brightly on all souls.
He actually does full stop for the first time since you guys have entered, and he just sort of turns to you, and you kind of get a look at his eyes, and his eyes are very, I guess you would say, dim, like they don't have a whole lot of life to them. And you just get the sense that he's not only exhausted, but he's very wary, wary and weary. And he says, "Look, I don't have time for this. I have so many tests to run to try and keep these people alive. The sisters outside told me you're friends with Parker. Look, I understand you're looking for some sort of resolution to her, but if you keep interrupting me like this, I can't do the crucial test that might be able to save her life."
Oh, sir, this goes far beyond one victim. Tell me, are you aware that the patient that your corpses down in the morgue are in fact no longer in the morgue?
It's news to me.
Can I do some sort of insight to see if
yes, you can do one insight, and it again is opposed, and I am doing that in real life, in case anybody was wondering. Because if I did it for I was gonna say, if I did it for the stream,
oh god, that'd be busted.
Yeah, people could see the stream.
Yep, and I will spend a glory to boost it up to 10 just to make sure.
Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 successes. I'm going to say you can shift that 6 if you so wish.
I'm going to keep it there just in case I need the extra successes.
Okay. In that case, what you are getting from him, he's becoming very impatient with you. He seems to truly believe that you are interrupting his work, and it's almost as if he's about to start not yelling at you, but sort of exerting his authority as a chirurgeon in a medical ward that he heads. Because you haven't exactly, whipped out a rosette at this point and told him, we're in charge here, kind of a thing.
If you called the guards on us, I'd really rather not fight the guards.
Yeah. I mean, that might be where he is going at this point, but you're really not sure. You just know that he's getting very impatient with you.
He's reaching the end of his tether.
Master Churchin, know that the eye of the Emperor is upon you and all in this place. So, you think about that.
Yes.
I had somewhere to go with that, and I just lost it entirely.
No, I think that's better in character too. It's just like it's great. All right, yeah. He just sort of shakes his head and says, "Fine."
We require an explanation for why you have been hiding your interaction with the servitors in the morgue.
Look, I don't know what you're on about at the morgue.
Phrasing.
We sent a few patients down there in the last week, but I haven't personally been to the morgue in, well, hell, it's been over a year now. I haven't been down there myself in quite a long time.
So
Your
then
servitors
who knows-
disagree with you on that.
Say we humor you, Master Churchin. Who else has access to your codes that it would show up as you?
Well, I can tell you that pretty much any other Churgeon that is in charge of an entire wing like I am would have the same level of access.
But your explicit codes that they would show up as such, huh?
Again, there's a nervous tick, which I'll let you, imagine as you like, but he says, look, I don't exactly have the best of reputation around here. It's bad enough I get saddled with this abacus disease that is nigh uncurable, despite all my best efforts. It would not surprise me if someone, maybe not even of the hospital, was planting evidence to implicate me in something.
I turned to Patron Morris, and I whispered to him quietly, I think the blowhart's gotten all we can out of him. We should be wary, extremely wary, but I don't think we can do anything about him yet. We should regroup with everyone else and talk about this.
Agreed.
Change your codes, Master Churgeon.
I'll do just that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's amazing. I've got the same combination on my luggage.
Our questioning is done for now, but remember, we shall be watching.
Okay.
As will the Emperor. Ominously walks away.
Yes. All right.
Moon walks out of the room.
We cut to the other three, Aloretta, Hardin, and Cull. So, as either as luck would have it, or because the GM doesn't want you running all over the planet, the Master Churgeon actually has I guess you would call it an apartment here in the sanatorium. It's just that big of a hospital that they actually keep their more prominent doctors and staff on site, especially those in charge of an entire wing, because, if there's a crisis, they need to be on hand. So you arrive, thanks to the sergeant giving you directions. You arrive at what is currently a locked door. It is a very simple combination lock, and the door itself is literally made out of wood. So I'm going to let you decide how you're getting in.
There should be some discretion,
Shall I?
but I definitely do not have any tools fit for picking locks. Or it's a combination lock. Never mind.
I'll take out my combat knife and just look to the others.
I would suggest, Lady Aloretta, that our good brother Cole has 2 rather large lockpicks, and I'll point down to the boots of his power armor.
Yes, just let me stand back then.
And then I'll do the parent thing. Haha, it's Father's Day. I'll do the parent thing of putting my arm in front of Lady Aloretta and kind of just like slowly backing her away.
Okay. So Cole, I don't think you need to roll to break down a wooden door. You're a Space Marine. I think you've
Not in
got
power
this.
armor.
Yeah, I think you've got this. How badly do you want to blow up this door?
I'm just gonna put my the gigantic combat knife into the the hinges, and basically just cut them off, and let the the door fall to the ground.
Okay.
I'm not like a flesh tear. I'm not just gonna break in like the Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah! It's me now!
I'm not some kind of barbarian.
No,
Um,
it's the
What are
monk.
you, a space wolf?
And
Exactly.
Sergeant Harden will kind of give a smirk and a nod. Interesting. He can hang the door back when we're done.
Far better
Well-
than I hoped.
And then as I step into the what do you call it, the room, I'm gonna be stepping on the door, so it just cracks in half.
Nice. Nice.
Never mind.
All right. So in the room, it's sort of set up like a loft, like a one-person loft. There is a very small kitchen area. There is a small, I guess you could call it a living space, not like a full living room, where there's a dining room table and a couch. And then through what is basically a half wall, there is then a place where a bed is. And the place is a mess, to be blunt. It is just covered with reports and data slates. There's dirty dishes in the sink. It's I guess you would call it a bachelor's apartment, but this is like he's been neglecting basic human decency for quite some time.
I see cleanliness is not close to his heart.
Considering we just took the door off its hinges,
Mhm.
I suppose there's no real point in not making it look like we just ransacked the place.
No, there's no point.
So so just upturn the bed, looking everywhere.
Okay.
Yes, Battle Brother. Move everything that's heavy. Throw it down if you have to.
Just
We're looking
break
for
everything.
doors, hinges, anything that could hide something.
All right. So for the interest of time, because I don't want us, sitting here rolling a bunch of dice, multiple tasks anyway.
Yeah, can Aloretta just like lead them in a sweep? Because she works with the Inquisition. I'm sure she's familiar with hiding spaces and basic stuff like that.
Exactly, that's where I was going with it. So I'm going to set the overall difficulty here because there is a lot to go through. I'm going to set the difficulty at actually a 7. But this 1/7 task will accomplish sweeping the entire place. And because Hardin and Cole are assisting, I will give you 2 dice in addition. Again, that's not
What
rules as
skill do you
written,
wish me
but
to roll? Just investigation?
Yeah,
yes, it would be
do
investigation.
successes, even if we don't hit the max of 7, will they still give us like just a little bit?
Yeah, again, there's
7?
no really succeed at cost rules in the system, but I'm doing it for sake of flavor at this point. Because I gotta give you something. Alright, let's count.
Plus 2 dice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got the 7 you needed. Very nice.
Hey!
So,
Nice.
you're combing through the bits of paper, you're combing through where there would normally be secret compartments, and you're not finding anything until you finally find a book. Maybe more like a journal or a notebook that is in between where the pipe for the sink kind of goes into the rest of the plumbing for the facility. So kind of under the sink in that little cupboard space, there is a notebook. And you see in the notebook that there is I guess you would call it a language. There's a series of numbers. And none of you are fluent in the language, but I think it's safe to say that based on your experiences, that you would know that this is lingua technis, or the language of the Mechanicus.
Oh, well, can't read that.
That is a classic spot. I should have thought of it sooner. She stands and puts the book in her satchel, and I think we know who we need to bring this to, if you feel that we can trust him.
The tech priest?
Yes, he's the only person on this planet in this hospital that I imagine could speak it, read it.
We're to make steps to make sure he is trustworthy first. We cannot just bring this to him without knowing where his loyalties lie.
Well, yes, it's a matter of trust, but we don't have much time on our hands.
That is true.
He
Maybe we
seemed
should go break
forthright.
down
He
his-
just seemed bored as well. Maybe this might pique his interest.
True, but Unfortunately, none of us know what it actually says or any semblance of it to know if he's lying to us or not.
It's very true.
Look, it'll either turn him insane because it's an STC fragment, or it'll help us move the plot along.
Couldn't Skitari read it for us? Could a Skitari read it for us?
A Skitari
Not a
could.
Skitari, not a Skitari, a Servitor.
No, this would have to be something an actual living, breathing tech priest would have to decipher.
Breathing?
Well,
I think
you know what I mean.
Breathing is optional for
Air circulating.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, the Filmon has not left the exotic diseases ward. He's very easy to find if you want to rejoin your fellows and talk to Filmon.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Yes, that's yep.
Okay. So you all regroup at the exotic diseases wards. You compare notes, and you go to the little lab that Filmon has set up. And as you all sort of either shuffle in or poke your head in, he just kind of turns to you, gives another sort of like pressure being released off a valve or something, another tech priest styled sigh, and says, "You're back. Yay. What can I help you with?"
Could you watch the door, please?
I shall assume guard. Actually, no, I want to be in there to...
I'll stand guard.
I'll-
I make the least impression.
I was going to say I stand guard because I have almost no skills.
I mean, you're not actually that terrible.
Poor Harden.
Skill monkeys, man. I almost feel bad, honestly.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the session is done.
I mean, hey, you got good Medicaid.
Yeah. I think he has the best Medicaid, or she has the best Medicaid, actually. But, anyways, so what are you saying to the lovely bored tech priest?
Filmon, what would you say if I had something more interesting than dealing with this abacus syndrome on my person?
I would tell you to show it to me and stop wasting my time.
GF looks to the others just to gauge the reaction, I guess, see how they feel about it.
You get only the glare of the Space Marine helmet.
I, with my eyes never leave the tech priest, I just shrug.
Okay. She produces the notebook and sets it in front of him. We found this in a suspect's apartment. We just need to know what it says.
It's interesting. This is, He actually pauses, and he lets out a whistle, which actually sounds like a whistle. It's very high-pitched, and he says, "Whew. How did you... You know what? I don't really care how you found this.
It doesn't say tech priest.
Well, I'll tell you this much. This is a standard security level Epsilon passcode.
And what does one do with a standard security level Epsilon passcode?
Well, here on Enoch, I can only think of one place that this kind of code would even be in use, and that's the Food Processing and Distribution Center.
It looks like that is where we are going. Do you have to be present in order to use the code?
No, I could provide you that information on your data slate if you so wished.
Yes, could you impart upon me the rights, please?
Of course.
Can I make an insight check on the importance and the connection between what could possibly be done with that grandeur?
He'll actually tell you.
I
if
have
you
some
just ask
theories.
him.
Yeah, well, I'm just at the door making sure that no one comes in and starts beating us up.
No, I gotcha. We'll do it this way. As he's, giving you the appropriate rights on your data slate, he continues to say, I do not give you this code lightly. I know you are with the Inquisition and thus will not misuse it. But please care that this passcode would provide complete access to the facility and the food and water distribution network for this part of the planet. If someone untoward gets this code, they could do horrible, horrible things to the facility and put hundreds of thousands of lives at risk.
Then tell no one about it.
I
and make
plan
sure
not
no
to.
one knows that we have it either.
I don't even know who you people are. And he says that with as much as a tech priest can wink. But at this point, those of you who are sort of keeping watch, I'd like those of you keeping watch to roll me a difficulty 1 awareness test.
Difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1.
Time to generate glory, folks.
Yep, time for glory moment or glory generation here.
What is?
Hey, there you go. There's your glory point.
All right.
1, 2, 4.
Sorry. Oh, wait. I'm not watching.
One,
I'm not on
two,
watch.
4,
Ignore my roll.
complication. Okay, just as well, because that was a complication.
Yeah.
Okay, so those of you keeping watch, you realize that the patients have stopped chanting. The numbers that they were speaking, the ward has gone silent.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna vox the sergeant and ask her, Sergeant, has anyone left the building recently?
I mean, lots of people have been coming and going. You'll have to be more specific.
We've had a situation come up here in the exotic diseases ward, and I'm worried about what this might entail. Do you mind if we borrow some of your guardsmen?
Perhaps my lockdown idea was a good idea.
The sergeant says, if you tell me what the guardsmen are going to be used for, I could certainly lend you a few. I might even come myself.
I'm not sure yet, but all of the patients have stopped being weird. I'd like to go over into one of the rooms and make a Medicaid test,
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
I'll say that, you know what, let's make it a Medicaid check, because more glory generation, it's only a difficulty 1.
With my Medicaid 3, how could I possibly fail?
Hey, you get the 1.
Holy shit, I actually passed.
Yeah, you actually passed. So what you know is their vitals are still steady. They are still in quote-unquote good health. It's literally the only difference between when you walked into the ward and now is they've just stopped saying numbers. They're still just sort of dispassionately staring at the ceiling and otherwise not really doing much of anything.
I'm gonna take out my bolter just in case.
Okay.
Is the Churgeon still in there?
Is the church in here? No.
Yes.
In fact, when you go and start to search the ward, you find that not only is Koenig no longer there, but 7 patients, including Adept Parker, are also gone.
We should make haste to the water and food distribution plant.
To the
I second
Whoa,
this.
hey.
Let's go. Scoot, scoot,
Yep.
scoot, scoot, scoot.
Guardsman, get us a flyer.
Well,
Where is my motorcycle?
I wish to ride it into battle and hit them with my sword.
Exactly.
Isn't that my line?
Hey, dude, you don't have a tank, so you know.
Yeah. All right.
I have a
Yeah,
space
so I'll commission the sergeant. Sergeant, we're going to be stealing the guardsmen posted outside. If you wish to come, we're heading to the graniary and water processing facility. We have a terrible feeling something's going on.
Can I make one aside?
Sure.
While all of this commotion goes on, she would have probably pulled. His name is Filmon, right?
Filmon, yeah.
Yeah, she would pull Filmon aside, and there's a skill on my sheet that says she can basically call in favors once per session from the Inquisitor, and she would assure him that she would get him reassigned somewhere else quietly while everybody else was distracted, since he seems to hate his position, and to sort of buy his silence.
Holy shit, are you being a decent person in a 40k setting? What is wrong with
She's
you?
buying silence is what she's doing.
Yes, I know. It's nice, normal, wholesome corruption. It's weird.
Yeah, Filmon.
Yeah, it's the best way to buy silence.
Good job on you.
She would make a concession a point that if he says anything about this, that posting is gone.
Oh, he has actively started to erase any memories regarding this incident.
That's the nice thing about being Skitara. You can actually do that.
Yep. All right. So, I'll say at this point, I think you guys are pretty much headed to the
through the
distribution
hall.
center.
After that, she is on the heels of her companions.
All
So,
right.
How many
do,
guards
do,
are
do the
there?
hospital security have a jeep they can give us?
Yeah, they've got some form of transportation that'll get you there expediently.
Oh my God, Brother Cole, make those checks.
Yeah, do they,
Get
do
us
they
there,
have,
fly!
do they have something I can actually pilot?
Let's say because I feel like throwing you guys a bone, they have an actual rhino you could drive.
Ooh.
All right.
Oh man,
Nice.
Fun seat.
And yeah, because this is literally Cole's job, please roll me your pilot, and this will be basically how fast you get there. The default difficulty will be in place, so the difficulty is a 3.
Does it happen to have the white scars keyword?
No, unfortunately not.
Can we hastily paint a red lightning bolt on it?
Wouldn't it have the Space Marine tag on it though, which I think still counts for his stuff?
That I don't know because I'm literally pulling this out
Oh
of the
yeah,
ether.
I need the Adeptus Astartes keyword, not the white scar keyword.
Ah,
Considering it's
Probably not.
You know.
For
Yeah, it's probably a sisters. Rhino?
Sisters Chimera or
But-
PDF Chimera.
yeah. I was
but it's still
imagining
a
PDF,
Chimera, which means
Wait.
it's probably just standard fare.
right?
All right,
Did
well, what's the
something happen
difficulty?
in
3. The difficulty was 3.
Yeah, difficulty's 3. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Nice.
Pretty fast.
I'm going to say
6 with the
if
complication.
you shift one of those dice, we'll get rid of the complication.
All right.
Okay. So you all arrive at the exterior of the food distribution center.
Sorry, if I
Oh,
may have
yeah.
a quick scene in the transport.
You can indeed.
How many guardsmen are with us?
I will say that 3 guardsmen are with you.
All right. I shall stand up and start giving a rousing speech. Guardsmen, although this has been, you have probably had a far easier time than many guardsmen in serving the Imperium. Your duty is just as blessed, for you are about to act in the service of the Inquisition and the Emperor himself. Refer to your uplifting primer, for you are about to face the foes, most dangerous foes to the Imperium of Man. Those are not of Xenos; they are of the moral threats. And the uplifting primer commands you to not take mercy on them, to scour the chaos from this world, and you will do so. For your faith shall be as strong as your armor and your weapon, and it is just as useful. And that, I believe, is my objective.
I would like to add to this rousing speech by shouting "Ave Imperator" to help with the morale.
Which is probably a fairly inspiring coming from a Marine in power armor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also going to say that for the duration of the combat, Sergeant Harden is going to assume operational command.
And Harden will smirk at them after the commissar is done with her speech, and everybody else is done with the speech, and then she will look at them and say, "I have been with the Inquisition for quite a while." And she says this quietly.
Mhm.
I've been with the Inquisition quite a while. I've seen many things that are both frightening and strange, things that our training in the Militarum has not prepared us for. Chances are, you are going to die. You need to be very, very good to be able to hang, and I will kind of motion to everybody else in the back of the Rhino, with the rest of this Inquisition. So if you survive this, maybe, just maybe, something can be done about you getting off of this rock. And then, as they're all probably wide-eyed, and she goes, "But you're probably going to die." And then she will go back and she will start giving blessings to the machine spirit of her lasgun.
So, it being a rhino and, you overhear each other's conversation, one of the guards says to the other, "I told you, Jerry. I told you we should have called out sick today." "Well, Jim, if I knew this shit was happening, I might have done so. But, I was already at the end of my sick days. I couldn't, I need the overtime work. You know what, Jerry? I don't give a shit. This is your fault. If I die, I'm going to haunt you. I just want you to know."
Through all of this, Aloretta is just taking hits out of her snuff box.
I'm going to pull a bolter. I will have no. There will be no deception. There will be no cowardice. Cowardice is a crime. You will face whatever is ahead of us, and you will do so as guardsmen, not as. And if you run away, I will find you.
And then Harden will add to the end of that, and to the one who said, "You know what? I'm over this. I'm done." Well, all right. If you're over this, do you have an extra power pack for your las gun?
I do carry one, yes.
Here, gimme.
He hands it over.
Wonderful. At least one of us is going to be shooting.
You should send him up here with me and try to tell me to pull over and let him out.
Oh dear.
Oh,
I love Lee.
over the Vox bead in her helmet. No, Brother Cole. If this one would like to get out, I will shove him out of the top hatch and just let you run him over.
Oh dear.
And then she turns back and looks at that guardsman who didn't hear any of that and just smile.
Yeah, I think you have all been sufficiently intimidating at this point.
The hype session before the final encounter.
Yeah, I love how it went from hype to do it or I will kill you myself, and it's like, okay.
Then
With Sergeant
We
Harden,
will happily inspire you, but just remember we're worse than what you're facing.
This is very true.
yes.
Remember that you have a space marine at your back, so there is no running away. You can follow
And-
the commissar.
And honestly, Harden was just reminiscing about her time working with the Inquisition.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Reminds me of my time.
we have come full circle.
Oh God. All right. So again, not to cut the thing short, but you do finally arrive at the food distribution center, and as I was saying, this is such a large facility that it's even bigger than the sanitarium was. You see that there are armed watchtowers every 20-meter intervals along the huge barbed wire fence that surrounds the complex. And there are signs all over the place that indicate that there is to be no admission by order of the Adeptus Mechanicus. There is the sound of heavy machinery performing some sort of noisy processing within the facility. And you also get the very strong scent of yeast that's in your sinuses. However, as you pull up to the front gate, you realize that you might be kind of on the edge of something, because instead of the main gate being, locked and sealed, which it should be, it is wide open, and all of the servitor crewed turrets in the watch stations nearby are completely limp with no signs of motion. And it is at this point that I am going to introduce, as the module suggests, a timer. This timer will hopefully work both as a token and on the Discord, or not the Discord, but the stream overlay. You, ladies and gentlemen, have approximately 30 minutes to find Koenig before bad things happen, starting now.
All right, let's get inside, boys.
Everybody, ready your weapons.
Forward in the name
Ready
of the
to
Inquisition and the Ecclesiarchy.
Ave Imperator!
Let's go.
Do we have a general layout of where we're supposed to be going?
Well, see, that's the
Fuck
thing, is
no.
that you come into the facility and immediately I would like all of you to make a challenging, so a difficulty 5 awareness test. I will say, Sergeant Harden, you do have your auspex back, so remember to factor that in.
Okay.
Auto point of glory.
All right, so Orton got 3. Aloretta got 3 as well. Lynn got 4. That is 4 for that, and 4 there, and 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so actually, Harden is going to get it. Very nice.
All right.
So Harden, even though it was originally Nemoris who noticed the trail of bile in the hospital, him having told you about this or pointed it out to you in the past, you, on a hunch, sort of scanned for the chemical components involved, and sure enough, from the front entrance leading in deeper into the facility, there is a readily followable trail of bile, presumably left behind by poxwalkers.
Okay. Harden will kind of tune the auspex a little bit. Lydia Aloretta, I believe I'm on a trail. And then we'll start heading that way.
Okay.
Lasgun only in one hand, but following the auspex to follow the trail.
Okay.
The Aloretta has her pistol and a chainsword out, and she's probably behind Cole at this point.
Likewise with Nemoris.
Okay.
I will be following
Same
the
here.
guardsmen.
Okay.
I will make sure that the guardsmen do not desert.
Oh, don't worry. So as you guys go deeper and deeper into the facility following this trail of bile, you do notice that you seem to be taking the route towards one of the extensive filtration facilities within the larger facility. You basically are following signs that say delivery pump A or delivery pump B, and you're turning left, you're turning right, you're going down hallways, you're going up, you're going down, and eventually you all will arrive here. And to kind of set the scene as you step inside, so you see as you step inside, and of course you can move your tokens to be in whatever marching order you'd like, and I actually have to move the stream overlay. In this room, immediately you see, I believe it's 15 poxwalkers. I could be wrong, I may have miscounted, but needless to say, it's a lot. The next thing you're going to notice is that Mr. Koenig is actually all the way out over at one of the pipes that seems to be part of the filtration process. And he, opens up the hatch and turns and says, you followed me here much sooner than I expected. Kill them all. And unless anyone...
Kill us? Ha! You should be so lucky because, and Inquisitor Lin, if you'd like to join me in declaring this,
Don't you know
Cherugan
me?
Koenig, you are a heretic and unworthy of the Emperor's light.
May you forever suffer from the dark powers you have fallen in bed with.
Oh,
There is no
nice.
mercy here today. Kill them all.
Okay.
And it is a very
Being
soggy bed
heretics.
because it's Nurgle.
Yep. All right. So we are at this point going to go into combat, and it is going to be your turns first. So which one of you players would like to act first?
Can I go first, please?
You certainly can.
So,
All right.
so
Can you
did,
ex-
did
You can go.
I was going to say, did we have 30 minutes to find him or 30 minutes to defeat him?
30 minutes
Both.
to find him,
Oh,
but
okay.
will probably
All right.
involve
Okay.
both, considering
Just
we
check.
died immediately.
Lightning round.
Yeah, can you explain to me the blast? How blast works? What's moderate? How big is that?
So Blast is actually not covered in the free PDF, and I think the way I'm going to rule it is moderate will do a radius of 2 squares. So a 5x5.
5 by 5. Great. All right. I want to throw one. Actually, that gives me some leg room. I guess right here is where I'm going to be throwing mine. Yeah, that gives me plenty of room.
Okay, so
So we
it's,
hitting a
it
lot of
would be, let me draw a square here, and don't worry, I am not counting too much of this time against you, so...
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, 5 by 5 would be like that. Wouldn't
That, like, so the orange
Oh, that.
square.
it? All right.
So would you want it here, maybe?
I want to be able to hit Koenig with it. Koenig, basically these guys and him. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Go
What's his
ahead
ballistic
and roll your ballistic skill here. I'm going to say that this is going to be against their defense, and that means let's make it a 3 overall. I think is probably fair.
All right, and that is my frag grenades.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you got the successes you needed. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. So you could conceivably shift those 2 6s if you so wished.
Sure.
Okay.
And then should I roll for damage?
Yes, we're actually rolling for damage now. So I believe your frag grenades are 10 base plus 1 extra die. So just roll a d6 and we'll see what you
All right.
get.
It's plus
And
2
my,
with the shifts.
Yes, with my alignment thingy, I believe I get plus 1 extra dice.
Yes, you would.
Actually, no, that's plus 1 damage. I'm sorry, not extra dice. So just 1 extra dice, and then so it's 11 plus 1 extra dice.
Yep.
So 11.
So
12,
11.
13.
So just 11 because we were looking for 4s and 5s.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let me double check here. All right. So the Poxwalkers have a resilience of 5 and only 3 wounds. So you doing 11 damage will immediately kill all of them. As for Koenig, he's a little bit more armored. You would note that, and I probably should have said this beforehand, but he is now equipped with some flak armor. And your grenade blast does hit him, but he doesn't really seem to be all that affected. Almost as if his armor absorbs the blunt of the blow. So he's still hurt, but you know, he's still very much up.
Well, we got the ones around him at least.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I will spend a point of glory to hold the initiative and have Peter rush up next.
Okay.
Alright, so he will run up 6 meters and he's going to do a charge.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to move his full 6 meters up to here.
Okay.
And that'll give him a +1 dice on his attack, which
Okay.
will happen with the chainsword, which is martial crafted, so that's another 2 dice. And he has hatred of heretics, so that's a 4th dice.
Jesus. The difficulties
So,
are
Christ.
too. You're gonna
Yeah.
hit the Poxwalker.
So
Poxwalker explodes.
So added to his weapon skill, that's a total of 12 dice.
It's dead. Stop hitting it.
He's already dead.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's 10 plus a bunch of energy dice.
So that is 6, 8. So you could again shift that 6 for glory or additional damage.
I will shift it for glory because people are going to need it.
Okay.
Hey kids, do you want to see a dead body?
Oh god. All right. What is the base damage on your chainsword?
10 plus 1 energy dice.
Yeah. You don't even roll
Except
damage.
it's plus 2 energy dice because it's a brutal weapon.
Yeah, it's dead. It only has 3 wounds. It's dead. It is super dead. All right. So as you cut it down, it is actually the Poxwalker's turn, and I am going to actually spend some ruin here. I'm going to spend 1 ruin so that 2 of them can act. One of them is going to come from over here and go up to Battle Brother Cull. And this one is going to go up to Nemoris and attack him. So, let's see. We'll do... Cull, what is your defense?
It should be 12, I believe. Is his resilience stat.
No, his defense, not his resilience.
For me?
Yes.
Oh.
I think it's a 3. Yeah. Cull's defense is a 3. All right, so...
Yes, my resilience is 11, yeah.
Okay, so... The good news is sorry, brain fart. The good news is that it hits you, and for the moment, it doesn't really seem to do anything, but let me just double check what Toxic does.
Would my so basically as a space marine, I have like a general +1 to things that my implants may or may not help me with, since I didn't want to go into great detail with how implants work in this system.
Right.
So would my implants help me if I get a test to avoid it work against toxic?
They would, and in fact, the verbiage as I'm reading it is it says a character who is wounded by the weapon. And I would say with your resilience of an 11, this Poxwalker is just hitting you, and it's, might as well be hitting a wall for as much,
Eh.
Yeah, it's like,
Creating a little bit of shock, but other than that.
Yeah,
The only thing he gets is just my furious anger.
exactly.
And some slime on your armor.
That took 12, whatever you call the Space Marine humans to paint.
Neophytes?
Yeah, neophytes, yeah. They had to paint my armor.
Oh dear. All right, and then let's resolve Nemoris. So Nemoris, what is your defense?
Because I've got my chainsword out this time, it is 4.
They fail tremendously. So you just sidestep out of the way, or maybe even parry as this Poxwalker just sort of claws at you in a zombie-like fashion. But otherwise, you're
to you too.
You're completely fine.
Do they get, or what happens if you roll complication?
I think that means I fail outright, but again, it's not very clear.
I don't think it's actually covered. There's a lot of rules I got left out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are just sort of I'm making up on the fly here.
Fair enough.
Next up is the player's turn.
I'd like to go.
Okay.
As the Poxwalkers aren't as big a threat as Koenig, he is within range of my bolt pistol, so I will do an forego my move action to aim and use a salvo. Use my reload action on a salvo.
Okay.
Sorry, my headset just got caught in my chair. There we go. Okay. And now, so salvo allows for an extra damage. No, it adds an extra +1 or dice. So,
Extra bonus die to the attack roll.
yeah. Okay, so I'm rolling at like 12 here. Cool.
Okay, and the difficulty to hit him is a 4. Which you get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, so you can actually shift that 6.
Yes, let's turn that into glory.
Okay.
Up to 3.
And then, so that would be 11 points of damage.
Plus what?
Yes.
Because you roll the extra damage dice.
Yeah, so you have 1 additional extra damage die, so go ahead and roll a d6. A 5, so you do 11, 12 damage to Koenig.
Actually, it's brutal. He rolls a 6 technically. He does 13.
Is it a brutal weapon?
Yeah, it is brutal.
It is brutal. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was already added. My bad.
In that case, +1 to the result of each extra damage dice.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, that does become a 6. So yes, that is indeed 13 damage. Okay, so as you fire at Koenig, this time your bolt pistol seems to do quite a substantial amount of damage. He is still standing, but you see that even though his armor has done its best to sort of weather the blow, he is, kind of gritting his teeth and pushing through it. And he is, because I can do math right now, and he's at that much health. Okay, he's still very much standing. All right. Do you perchance want to retain the initiative again?
Oh,
Do we still have a lot of
3,
We have-
it looks like.
Alretta
three at the moment.
and Harden.
I think Harden would be better pressed to seize the initiative. Alretta's not going to do a lot in actual combat.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll go ahead and spin one, and then I'll take my turn.
Okay. What you doing?
Did you say, and I didn't hear you, are these walls?
They're like half walls. You could conceivably, chest high walls you could duck behind in a third person shooter.
Okay. Well, that's what I was asking, if I had pulled off to the side, if I would lose the line of sight to him. But I think I will stand right next to Brother Cole, and I will shoot my las gun at Koenig.
Okay. Might I advise aiming?
Good job, boy.
Sure, we can do that. What does that do?
It basically
Extra
gives you an
dice.
additional dice.
Right on. And that's to hit, or there it is. I see it on your sheet. It's to. bonus to ranged attacks.
Yes.
Okay. Then
We have a plan coming up here in Discord.
okay. So that'll be 9 dice for ballistic skill.
Mhm.
+1 because I'm rank 1. Oh, that's damage rolls. Okay. Because my las gun is a trademark weapon.
No, that it is.
Oh, and aiming will give me 1 more.
Yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. You can again shift the 6, but there is going to be a complication. I'll tell you what, you shift the 6 and don't do anything else with it. I'll cancel out that complication.
That's fine. I was going to ask if that was a mechanic that I could do, but yeah, I'll shift the 6 and then because I think I
Wait,
still hit.
I'm confused. Doesn't his las gun ignore the first complication in the thing?
Oh yeah, doesn't it have steadfast?
It has steadfast, yeah.
Yeah, then you just ignore it. So yeah, you could still shift
Okay.
the 6 and do glory or damage if you so wished.
Oh, wow. And that's each battle, so chances are with the sluggers that we have that I probably won't shoot more than once. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I'll still shift the 6 to glory and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right, so go ahead, and I believe you have 7 plus 2 extra dice. So roll 2d6, and let's see what we get.
And then the 2 extra dice is from 2 random, because the trademark weapon las gun doesn't say it's included.
So 3 extra dice then.
Okay, so a total of 10.
Mm-hmm. Well, you still have to roll the 3d6 because you could get zeros or you could get 6s.
Right, I was gonna put it in there for my. Oh, that's right. Damage rolls are not on that.
Yeah, damage rolls you just do as normal d6s.
Okay. But they're all rolled together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. So you do
It's a base damage of 7.
Yeah, you have a base damage of 7.
Okay, and then the 3d6 is. All right, I got it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you roll 3d6.
Okay, so you get 1 additional hit, so that's a total of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you hit him with the las gun, and I mean, you see him take the hit, but unfortunately, it's a las gun. He's got flak armor. He doesn't really care. So unfortunately, you don't do a whole lot of damage.
And what is salvo?
So salvo is you spend a reload to gain additional bonus dice to your attack roll.
Oh, okay.
And basically, it's sort of like a multi-attack or a... You can combo it, basically.
It symbolizes you just pumping out as much like DACA as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, think of it as auto fire from like the Fantasy Flight system, except it's just abstract.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so I believe it is now their turn. So Koenig is going to actually, because he has this ability, because he is quite amazing, I'm going to spend 1 point of ruin for him to activate this ability, and then 1 point of ruin for him to maintain the initiative on himself. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to sweep his arms wide, and he is going to speak a foul tongue. And this tongue is burning your ears. You hear a ringing, and this is a language most foul. And it probably doesn't take you much to put together that this is the language of demons. And
sounds like Cadia.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Kid. Oh,
Like it was so bad they left.
Oh god. So this is actually one of the attacks we did not cover yet. So this is what is known as an interaction attack. And basically what this means is he's going to roll a certain number of dice here. And I need to know what your resolve is for everyone.
Now, before people answer, I missed this the first time, but everyone within line of sight to me can add their rank to the resolve tests.
All right.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
useful. Then mine's 4.
Step threat of the bolt pistol.
Okay. So actually, I'm going to roll just once, and we'll compare it to everyone. So let's see. He has.
Would this be considered a psychic power and/or effect?
No, this is not psychic, unfortunately.
God damn it!
So
Fuck, does this
we
power
just
work?
add an additional
This guy's
dice.
just
Yeah.
horrific. Okay.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 5 successes. So
And you get a ring.
yeah.
Poof. Okay. I have a resolve of 5.
And then we're rolling resolve, yes?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so how would we handle half ranks?
Are
they round up or round down?
Down, I believe.
Wonderful. So this whole little line right here that says Cadian shock troops is completely useless at rank 1.
You know what? I feel like for the sake of argument, let's do whatever your rank bonus says. And do it that way.
It's just it says it's plus 1/2 rank on resolve tests.
Well, usually that just means you round up.
Yeah, you know what? Let's
'cause,
round up instead.
That's how they do it for the mob rules as well. So
Okay.
I think it's
Rounding down will just basically just be, oh yeah, you get no bonus.
Yeah. Again, it's an oversight. They don't explicitly state it anywhere.
Okay.
They could fix that by saying lowest of 1, so that it auto rounds.
They were trying their hardest to just leave stuff out for give people a reason to buy the rules.
All right, so I see 2 successes for Cole, which is not enough. I see 4, so 1 success for Lynn and a complication. I see 3 successes for Alaretta, still not enough. I see.
What am I rolling? Resolve?
Resolve.
Just straight?
Resolve add
Okay, I
add
thought he was
your
rolling.
rank to dice.
Yeah.
Pushing that big 4, definitely get you a success on that.
I'm going to spend a point of wrath to re-roll that shit.
Okay.
Looks like Bishop dropped off and came back in. How many points of wrath are we at now?
Let's see. You were at 2, I believe. You had 2 glory.
Or 2 glory. Oh yeah, I forgot we can spend wrath. Now might be a good time for me to spend wrath.
Yeah, this would be a good time to spend wrath.
What does Wrath add again?
It basically lets you re-roll any failures, or it will allow you to restore shock, or you can add a narrative element to the current scene.
Ooh, could I have a rock fall on Mr. Koenig's head?
I'm going to say no. There are not many rocks in the food processing facility.
That's why we're spending a wrath.
Darn. That was
So then, and I only got 3, correct? Because 6s count as 2 and 5s count as 1?
Correct.
Okay, then yeah, I'll spend a wrath as well.
Okay.
I will also.
Yeah, I still didn't succeed.
And then you just re-roll the fails, correct?
Yes.
Still just a big 4.
That's
testing,
still
testing.
nothing. Yes, we can hear you, Bishop.
Damn it.
Okay, right. That was a bit of a panic. My modem just hiccuped and died for about 20 seconds.
Always fun.
So
We're down to 1, or no, we still have the 2 glory, right?
yes.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so here's what happens. As this wave of foul language washes over you, you find yourselves, clutching your ears in agony, and you are now considered to have a +1 difficulty to all your tasks, and you are also considered prone, which means your defense is reduced by 2 from any melee attacks. And then, as Koenig's maintaining the initiative, he's going to go over to one of the pieces that the Poxwalker, from the Poxwalkers that blew up, he's going to walk over and pick up one of the arms. And then he's going to turn back towards the pipe that he opened up before. But it is now your guys' turn. Either Lynn or Alaretta, you two have yet to go.
I haven't gone on.
Oh, did I mark someone wrong?
I've already gone.
Already won.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has Cole gone? I don't think he has.
I thought Cole threw the grenade.
Yeah, Cole went first.
that
I think
was
it's just
very
me.
start. That was,
Yeah,
that
it's
was
just
a little
Aloretta.
Okay, so it's just Aloretta then.
All right, what action to get up from prone?
Well, you're considered prone, but you're not actually prone.
Oh, okay, that makes much more sense. All right, she will take a move up here to the corner, take some half cover, and then fire at that Poxwalker that's next to Pater.
Okay. Okay. Your difficulty to hit it will be, yeah, you hit it. You actually can shift one of those 6s. And in fact, if you shift that 6 to cancel out the complication, unless you have steadfast.
Yeah, it's a last pistol. It's steadfast.
Okay, then we ignore that. So you can shift it for glory or damage.
I will just shift it for glory for the rest of the party.
Okay. So we're up to 3 glory. So yeah, go ahead and roll your damage on the Poxwalker.
Yep, just 7 plus 1 damage, I believe.
Well, the good news is they have a whopping resilience of 5, and that is enough to bring him down, I think. It's enough to bring him down. All right. So now up is the remaining Poxwalkers. So this one moves here. This one moves to attack Pater. This one moves to attack Norris. This one gets here. This one gets here. This one here. And I think that's everyone. Yes. So that's 3 attacks against Nemoris.
And this is with the reduced 2 to defense, was it?
Yes, but don't forget you still have your bonuses from your chainsword. So what is your overall defense?
A total of 4.
Okay.
So minus 2 down to 2.
All right. So the first one does hit a 4. So that does succeed. That also succeeds. Wow. Yeah, that also succeeds. Okay. So
Resilience, don't fail me now.
yes. So this now does, and I'm just gonna roll this as a, you know what? I'll do it in line. So this will be 7. Let's do 3d6. I'll just roll them all at once. All right. So 2 hits of 8 and 1 hit of 7.
All of which are under my resilience.
All right. So you don't even care.
All right, so now for shock.
Getting backed around by a bunch of fucking zombies.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that makes it my turn, considering that was all of the DM.
Well,
Yep.
that was all the Poxwalkers, so...
Yes, it is now any of the players' turns.
Well, you didn't think
well,
my last turn.
actually-
the last
Oh,
turn,
sorry.
so.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was wondering what happened that I just got skipped entirely.
I marked you by
All right,
accident, but go ahead.
Rude. All right, so narratively, if it's fine with you, DM, I'd like to actually be prone from his special ability
Okay.
because I want to use it to better effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for a called shot to his hand,
Okay.
Oh,
which
nice.
will increase the damage, the target number by 3. So I'm gonna hopefully do that, and then I'm gonna, if everyone's okay, I'm gonna use a glory point to give myself 11 dice.
Oh, definitely.
No. How dare you?
I'm sorry, I must.
Glory for the glory throne, man. Quit taking it.
Yeah, I think that's enough to hit. That's 1, 2, 3. Wow, that's so instant 1 point of glory, so you get that back.
That's
And-
9 successes.
Yeah, you can shift at least one of those 6s to glory or dice.
I'll do that to dice, because I'm also going to spend a point of wrath for extra damage as well.
Can you do that with wrath?
No, I think that's just glory. You get,
That's
you get
just
1
glory.
flat extra damage.
You're right, my bad. Thought it also counted there, no. Alright, that's fair then. Okay, then what am I rolling for damage on this bolt gun?
If it's anything like the Commissars, it's
did I
10
roll
plus
it like
2,
that?
so
That's
12.
I got a 4, and so that'll be 11 points of damage to his hand.
Okay. And
So,
sure
yeah.
enough, it will hit his hand. And I'm going to roll he doesn't have armor there. So let's see. That is a grand total of 11 damage.
11 damage.
Okay, so
Because
no
I want
armor.
to stop him from doing what he's obviously doing. You heretical prick! The God Emperor will beat your ass! I'll kick your ass myself!
So you fire off a well-aimed shot at Koenig, and not only does it blow off the hand that was carrying the poxwalkers, but you now see that it is just spewing blood everywhere. And he is hanging on by a thread. Like, someone could walk over to him and push him, and he'd probably die.
Alright, Cole. I have set you up as hard as possibly can.
This is perfect.
All right, so now I think everybody has gone, so we're going to refresh. This is now round 2. Who of you is going first?
I will go.
Okay.
I love the idea of a sister just shooting between the legs of a fucking space marine to hit a hand across the fucking hand.
Am I close enough to toss the poxwalker at Koenig?
You... Sure. Yeah, you're a space marine. You could do it.
I mean, no, do I have to walk towards it? I mean... do I have to move that space?
Yeah, you got to move the space to get within
Orton,
gravity.
how do you feel about being the person to do it?
So here's the thing. At this point, if he's so low, you should probably just throw the walker at him and deal damage with an improvised weapon. Crush him with his own minion.
Alright, yes. So, charging forward, Cole will seek to pick up the poxwalker and chuck it at Koenig.
Oh boy! All right, let's
be athletics. Hopefully.
Yes, let's make this a back-to-back test. This is going to be an athletics to pick it up, and then a ballistic skill to hopefully hit him. So the athletics is only a difficulty 3. The ballistic is a difficulty 4.
All right, that's athletics.
All right, that's enough to pass.
All right, and the ballistics. I will. Should I add a glory to that, or is it wrath?
It is glory.
I would save it to re-roll with a wrath.
All right, yeah, I'll save it for re-roll.
And that is enough to hit him. So, how would you like to describe Koenig being hit by the poxwalker?
All right, so picking up the poxwalker, slinging him over his shoulder, Cole will take several steps to basically whirl it around and gather momentum before chucking it directly towards Koenig, with the poxwalker going face first into the old heretic, hopefully crushing and killing him.
I can hear you.
Okay.
All right, so the poxwalker flies through the air, and almost in comical slowness, you watch as the poxwalker just smashes into Koenig, and it's enough blunt force to knock him out. And
that was an old trick I learned on Cadia.
Oh my god.
Oh god. So
I call it the old-fashioned ball special.
Oh god.
That from one of them Scottish Marines. I forget their names though.
Oh dear. So the effect is instantaneous. The moment Koenig loses consciousness, he's not dead, he is unconscious. The moment he goes unconscious, all of the poxwalkers begin to tremble and shake and just vibrate so violently that they literally disintegrate themselves into nothingness. So all
good
the
fucking throw
have died.
Gonna wipe my hands of the poxwalker filth.
That was so good to envision. I want art of that.
You got a fucking multi-kill by throwing one dude.
Hey,
that's the most Space Marine thing in the world right there.
I'm just the wrong chapter. I should have been one of the what was it? Whatever that Fantasy Flight chapter was.
Stormlords.
Yeah, the Stormlords. Where they had like the giant battle axes and were just Scottish.
All right. Well, for the moment, you have a unconscious and badly injured Koenig to do with as you choose.
Holy crap, gentlemen! I leave for like 2 minutes to grab my food, and There's nothing left on the board.
Yeah.
You missed the most awesome hammer toss ever.
Yeah, I caber tossed a poxwalker at Koenig and it killed him. And that killed all the other poxwalkers.
Mega
Nice.
kill.
So yeah, what are you guys doing with Koenig?
Lady
I'm
Aloretta
going-
comes
let's
up behind the
execute.
others and just peers at the goings on. She can't really see over Cole, so she's just like on her tiptoes.
Mhm.
I will pass to let her through. This is pretty much an Inquisition matter.
I don't know. It's pretty commissarial of you to have the finishing blow on him.
Part of me wants to execute him for heresy. The other part of me wants to interrogate him just to see if he had any other license on this planet. This is a shrine world after all, and its sanctity must remain pure.
Yeah, the commissar does have a point, a very valid one. Just, do we have anything to bind him with?
I think someone has manacles.
Don't.
I mean, I could just hold.
Oddly enough, the
Do we-
interrogator does not have manacles.
Yeah, I could just hold him like steady.
Yeah, you can certainly do
I'm
that.
kind of
I
like just a big giant set of manacles to this.
I
dude.
mean, or if we're in a pinch, I have a blanket. I don't know what we would do with it, but I have a blanket. I also have a grooming kit. Does grooming kits help? Do we need that?
You can give him a nice
Moving.
haircut, give him a nice shave.
give him bad haircuts and a bad shave. It will utterly.
I've
dehumanize
got a
him.
writing kit. We can
All-
loser on his
He
forehead.
doesn't have much hair left.
We just deface him entirely.
Actually,
wait!
at this point,
I have a chaplet ecclesiastius, which I can use as a garrote, says the game.
that sounds kind of like heresy, honestly.
Yeah, that does sound.
Let me
a little
use
bit
my
like
holy
that.
symbol as a garrote.
All right, so
So
what
yeah,
are
if
you
you want
guys
to tie
doing
him
with
up,
him?
feel free to take that from me.
Can I spend a wrath point just to insert the narrative that we find some chain?
Sure.
Okay, so Aloretta points out some chain for Cole. Please, you do the honors.
I will do it. So, yes, the deed is done. I guess. Not a whole lot to say.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so in a narrative fashion, you chain up Koenig for future interrogations, and as you do, and you sort of begin to drag him out of the way, out of the facility, you hear a very slow clap, just sort of a, and you turn to look, and you see, sitting on that half high wall, there is a blue-skinned individual, which would probably be
what if they come back
instantaneously
in-
recognizable of some of my past players, but in character, you have no fucking clue what it is.
Yes,
And,
I have literally
You
just got
cow
back into chat to
scum.
see that icon.
You had to, didn't you?
I had to, because this is part of Zeech's plan. And she says as much. She says, "You've done well, lovely inquisitorial agents. Thank you for advancing my plan. I'll be seeing you in the future. Bye-bye." And then, poof, the demon vanishes.
And about 2 seconds after she vanishes, Peyton
I
comes
rolled
running
to shoot.
past, waving the chainsword with frothing rage.
I rolled to
Peter,
shoot,
calm yourself.
So that's what I rolled.
Unfortunately, she disappears too fast for
God
me to
damn
hit
it!
her.
Why couldn't I roll that any other time? That's a fucking great ballistics
That
test.
is a very good ballistics test.
You rolled a good wrath die to boot.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a really good roll.
To be fair, you shot the man's hand off from between a Space Marine's legs. That's pretty great.
That's pretty good too. Yeah.
Okay, so because I was missing all that with internet problems, what was the Cliff Notes version of the ending there?
So the condensed version is you all have chained up Koenig, and you will be interrogating him to make sure that his heresy is contained and that he has no collaborators. And the good news is you guys have saved Enoch. You have prevented the contamination of the food and water supply. You have likely found the individual responsible for the abacus disease or syndrome. However, one final bit of information, because I do have to make sure the universe is grimdark. As you all are leaving the facility and you're kind of looking at some of the remnants of the Poxwalkers, you realize with probably horror and sadness that one of the Poxwalkers was Adept Parker.
Was it the one that
remains?
Was it the one I tossed?
Yes, it was the one you tossed.
At least she did her duty one final time.
I will
Even
quote
in death, Father. Even in death.
I will quote something that one of the quotes I love from the old Space Marine Codex, which is, "Even in death, you still serve the Emperor."
Very nice. And that is where we're going to officially end the session, guys. So,
That was
applause all
pretty
around. You did a good job. So, as long as no one has to run off, I think I'd like to spend, maybe the next 5-10 minutes just sort of getting a feel for everybody's, what went well, what people liked, what people didn't like, because this is as much a feedback for me as it is for Ulysses or anyone else who's, interested in the system. So, speak your mind and, let's hear it.
Well, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I liked the system a lot more than, I thought I would.
Also, I agree there. The D6 system is a lot less clunky than I was expecting it to be.
That, and it feels more like representative of your character. Like, I felt like the living tank that a Space Marine should be, but I also didn't feel like I totally outclassed everyone else.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
I feel like...
Flight,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, in Fantasy Flight, the higher number always trumps. Where in this one, I could have 11 dice, and sure, I'm probably going to pass. But even with, 5 dice, we had a good chance of passing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a lot better than doing the Dark Heresy universe in air quotes. Whereas if you do a mixed group or party like this, where you add in sisters and Marines,
Space Marine,
the rest of the group can just sit back behind a wall, and the Marine will just run up melee, and there's your whole encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say from my point of view. So, obviously the module advised me to give you 3 Poxwalkers per player, but as we saw, the Poxwalkers, even when I was using their full stats as I was supposed to for the last encounter, they weren't really deadly at all. I honestly don't think they could hurt anyone.
Yeah, I don't think they could hurt. My resilience was too high.
Everyone's got way too much armor for the Poxwalkers to be able to beat the damage minimum.
Yeah,
right,
I think
which makes me wonder, either we did it wrong, which is perfectly okay, I don't have a problem with that, or it just, simply stat-wise, the initial stat offering was too high.
Yeah. Maybe the difficulty curve was adjusted because it is a free RPG Day module too.
Yeah, that's also very likely.
And it feels like these characters are all actually really optimized.
Dude, I have a 10 in my ballistic skill. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, and I was just a skill monkey, rogue in D&D. I had an answer for everything that wasn't combat. So
these don't feel like tier 1 characters. These feel like high-end games.
Yeah, you feel competent. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
to be fair,
this
this
tier 3.
Yeah, tier 3. Obviously, I don't know what tier 1 versus tier 3 looks like, but
it's like Acolyte versus Space Marine.
The Space Marine is so his is normal. The rest of us were built up from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mine says I'm tier 1, and then parentheses says ascended to tier 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you normally a guardsman would be tier 1, but you were given XP and equipment, I guess.
For your extra armor
or something. Who knows? Maybe Ascendancy will be covered. Well, it better be covered.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a major part of the system from what I know, and it ranges from 1 to 5. So I'm interested what the hell 5's going to look like.
5 has to just be the
Lord Inquisitors,
people.
Grey Knights.
Yeah, Grey Knights, Custodians, which are basically the same thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you could probably
Custodians
fit
are way better than Grey
tier
Knights.
4.
Yeah.
Well, now that they're actually in 40k and they're not some super secret, oh, we'll never publish these. They're just so good. We'll never publish them. Oh, here they go.
Tier 5 has to be the Ghost Legion.
Good.
Oh, the the Legion of the Damned?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Kudos to you, GM, for the apartment scene. That was a good save on that end.
I like that.
Yeah, that was really nice, actually. It felt good.
If you ever do, I know some of you are actually going to run this for your own groups. You'll find that I completely ad-libbed half of that.
Oh, I know.
That's the joy. That's the joy of the system, though. I think
And
it
you
reminds
did
me a lot of
great.
Dungeon World. Like it feels like it's improv, and I like that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like you were reading from a script.
Yeah, that's good. I always try to give myself enough notes that I don't have to be constantly, like railroading you or things of that nature, so that I can.
Yeah, I
keep
never
things
felt
fluid.
railroaded. Just
As
some
a-
of the NPCs
as a-
didn't know anything, which is normal. So
Mhm.
As a legitimate question to the rest of the players in here, would anyone have even guessed to have spent an entire turn to hour in game just jotting down the numbers the fucking people were speaking?
Nope.
not at all.
Nope.
Even in character, I don't think Alorette, she would have thought that would have infected her or something. That would have
Yeah,
been
Right?
I mean,
It's
as
What's that?
being supposed to be part of the investigation somehow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'd
as
imagine.
being-
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean,
Go
and as
ahead,
being as being as much into 40k as I am, and reading some of the novels, especially about when they start finding techno demons, there's no way in hell I would ever write down something that is numerical heresy.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah, that's like
Cole-
inviting the
Cole
corruption.
wasn't going to pay attention because either
Like-
it's some just mad
like,
man
I was
rambling,
I was
or it's
sitting
legitimate
there.
demons,
Yeah.
talking.
I'm just sitting here, worried for the DM because, how the fuck are you going to introduce the fact that he's going to try and poison the water main? How the fuck are you going to do that? There is not even a remote, anything on that even being a possibility.
Right.
You did great.
Oh, I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you did a real good job. I'm sorry if I took away from everybody's thing out of combat. They gave Aloretta a lot of skills, and it kind of felt like
That's fine.
I didn't have a whole lot to do in out of combat period. Just sat there reminiscing about Cadia.
To be fair, Space Marines are pretty much combat focused.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
and even with just guardsmen, if you've read any of the novels about Eisenhorn or whatever, even if they sub or conscript guardsmen, all the guardsmen really do is watch the door. So, and looking at the skills that Harden had, other than Medicaid, which now I realize she has a Medicaid of 8.
damn,
And you have a stealth of 9.
practically a Trojan.
Yep.
There's really nothing else she's good for other than awareness and ballistic skill.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's obviously not your fault as a GM, but I think they softballed the combat.
Actually, I guess this is only me, but I kind of felt like it was a good balance, even though there was only 2 encounters.
Mhm.
Oh, no, I would have
Another
just
one.
appreciated a slightly harder encounter for the second one because I felt like
Oh,
the
yeah,
Poxwalkers could not legitimately hurt anybody.
I threw
Well-
I threw 1 grenade and took out.
I
4
was
of them.
like, oh, there's a decent number there. This might actually be a challenge because the first instance is just really pathetic. Like the fact that I managed to just annihilate 2 of
Yeah,
them
it's like
with
it's
one
like
roll.
a kobolds encounter in level 1 D&D. Like, okay, well, we're just here to show off a little bit.
Yeah, the
But
one
then-
thing-
Yeah,
That's the
1
challenge
grenade
with
should not be
map
enough
with
to kill 4 dudes at once.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that the module actually recommended to bring in an actual mob of poxwalkers, but I honestly didn't think for the narrative purpose that A, it would
It
make
would've made sense,
narratively,
yeah.
and B, it still wouldn't have done enough damage to really hurt any of you.
Definitely
Like-
not Cole.
Like, the only person looking at their stats that really could have hurt you was Koenig. And all Koenig was really slated to do was to use his ruin
Throw
action.
arm. Throw
Yeah.
arm. Throw
Was
arm.
to, get you all down in the prone status, quote unquote, and then throw an arm into the processing to corrupt the planet. Like, that was his whole MO.
It was good thinking by the sister to call the shot to the arm, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
well, I mean, and the other thing too is, with that last fight with him having flak armor and me seeing what my resilience is with flak armor, really the only 2 people that can do anything to him is Cole and Henna, because he's just going to
Black
soak.
armor that good?
It's
Yeah.
not that bad. It's
Damn.
really decent.
I mean, my resilience, which I'm guessing is basically my soak, I'm guessing,
It is.
is 8 as a guardsman.
Yeah, I think Aloretta was the only one that could have legitimately got wounded in any encounter.
I mean, so
Wow.
me throwing my las gun, I'm 7 damage plus 3 dice. I only got 7 successes. His flak armor just soaked it. so I did no damage.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he takes shock too, I think, just like players.
Yeah, I
if
mean,
it
he
gets,
takes some shock, but he wasn't anywhere near to worry about his shock level.
Yeah.
Plus, you could have spent ruin to soak wounds and shit too.
Mhm.
I feel like the poxwalkers were really weak.
Yeah,
He
Yeah,
doesn't
they
even
kinda
actually
were.
have to spend ruin to soak. He's allowed to normally as NPCs like that.
yep.
Oh well, damn. Yeah, you could have soaked for poxwalkers, I guess, if you wanted to drag out the fight. which
No,
probably
actually,
felt
the-
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, the rules actually
the
say
books
that.
actually tell you not to.
Yeah, for troops like the Poxwalker, you can actually soak. But for anything that is higher than a troop, you can't soak.
Slightly bigger.
All right. Well, I think that's some good feedback. At this point,
was
I'm going to
fun.
end the stream and the recording, but players, just stick around because I have a few more words I'd like to have off stream with you guys.
Okay, if I
So
use the
for those of
restroom real
you,
quick.
oh, go ahead.
I was asking if it was okay if I use the restroom real quick.
Oh
Since
yeah,
there's
you've
a
got
small-
time. You've got
Oh,
time.
yeah.
All right. So for those of you who may be watching this on Twitch or in the future on YouTube, thank you for watching. Hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully this gave you a not totally biased or completely foobarred impression of the system. And, I'm liking what I see. I think I'm going to turn this into a full campaign at some point. But
would
again,
be
thank you for
fun.
watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.